Chapter 1106. Gu Qiu also ordered breakfast for Ning Shu. Ning Shu ate without hesitation. Gu Qiu looked at Ning Shu and said, "Du Bing, we have been together for 2 years. You abandoned our relationship for material things." Ning Shu took a sip of porridge and said, "I told you that I'm not Sinan's girlfriend, and I have nothing to do with him." "I don't want to believe it either, but these things." Gu Qiu took out a stack of photos, which were all photos of Ning Shu and Sinan together. Because of the angle, some photos looked like they were kissing. There were photos of them hugging each other intimately. Ning Shu glanced at the photos and said indifferently, "They're photoshopped." Photoshopped? Gu Qiu was a little angry. "What about this? How do you explain this?" Gu Qiu took out her mobile phone and clicked on it. It was a recording. It was a conversation between Ning Shu and Sinan. It was very clear. "Break up with Gu Qiu and be with me. You don't have to work so hard. I'll give you a simple and easy job with a high salary. You don't have to be a cashier. I'm handsome and rich. I can provide you with everything. You can use any card or buy any brand. You just need to be my girlfriend." "Oh, really? Then I'll take it that you agree. If you become my girlfriend, I'll let you manage this company. What do you think? What future can you have as a cashier?" "I'll take your silence as a yes." Gu Qiu looked at Ning Shu. His eyes were a little red. "How do you explain this?" Ning Shu shrugged. Sinan was very good at recording. Her words of refusal had been cut out, leaving only these specious words. "Obviously, Sinan is scheming against me." Ning Shu stared at Gu Qiu. "I don't understand why Sinan is scheming against me." Gu Qiu's expression was a little strange. Ning Shu asked again, "Why? What can he get by scheming against me?" Gu Qiu rubbed her eyebrows. "Du Bing, let's break up." "Fine, but I want to know why Sinan did this to me." Ning Shu stared at Gu Qiu with sharp eyes. Gu Qiu avoided Ning Shu's eyes and thought of Sinan's contemptuous eyes when he gave him something. "So this is your girlfriend? Isn't she just a vain woman? I just casually tried, and she wavered. She became my girlfriend." Gu Qiu felt very embarrassed and refuted, "Du Bing is not that kind of person, no." Sinan contemptuously gave Gu Qiu the photos and recordings. Gu Qiu felt very sad and immediately called his girlfriend to ask about it. The next morning, he went to the dormitory to wait for Ning Shu. Gu Qiu was unwilling to believe that his girlfriend was such a person. He did want to be with Du Bing. "Du Bing, let's break up." Gu Qiu looked at Ning Shu and said. Ning Shu was expressionless and finished a bowl of porridge. "You know that I am wronged, but you still want to break up with me?" Gu Qiu shook her head. "I find that we are not suitable for each other. We can't go to the end together. Since you don't believe me, let's break up." Ning Shu said lightly. Gu Qiu's eyes were a little red. Seeing Ning Shu's indifferent look, she said sadly, "Aren't you sad at all? We have been together for 2 years. You really don't love me." Ning Shu was speechless. "Damn it, it is you who wants to break up with me. How can you blame me for not being sad? Do you want me to cry and die? Now you are blaming me for not being sad. You are Tom Su, the most innocent person. Du Bing's tragedy was because of this man. He tricked his friend and fell in love, and his life was ruined." Ning Shu looked at Gu Qiu, whose eyes were red, and felt quite speechless. "Are you done?" "I'm done. Can we go now?" Ning Shu said to Gu Qiu lightly. Gu Qiu nodded and picked up the clothes on the chair. "Let's go." When they went downstairs, Ning Shu slightly squeezed Gu Qiu. Gu Qiu staggered and rolled down the stairs, hitting his head on the stairs. "How are you?" Ning Shu went down and asked. Gu Qiu took a deep breath. Ning Shu helped him up and saw blood flowing down from his ear. "You are injured. Let's go and have a look." Ning Shu took care of Gu Qiu. Gu Qiu touched the wound. "It is not very serious." Out of the breakfast shop, Gu Qiu sat by the roadside. Ning Shu said, "I will go buy medicine for you." Ning Shu bought medicine. Wearing medical gloves, he carefully poured the sticky blood into the medicine. Ning Shu threw away the medical gloves and took the medicine. "I will apply some medicine for you." Ning Shu used a cotton ball to stir the medicine and applied it on the wound. AIDS was transmitted through sex, mother to child, and blood. Now that Guccio was injured and his dermis was damaged, the blood must have been integrated into his body. As long as Guccio carried the virus, none of the three men could run away, especially when walking on the road, which was easy to bleed. No matter how promiscuous the three men were before, when they met Guccio, they had to obediently surrender. From then on, they had no desire for others. From then on, they would keep their chastity for their true love. It's done. Ning Shu screwed the cap back on and put it in her bag. Guccio, since we have broken up, don't contact me anymore. I wish you happiness. Ning Shu turned and left. Guccio sighed and touched the place where she was injured. Guccio went to the pharmacy to buy band-aids and went back to work sadly. The three men were waiting for Guccio. The first thing they noticed was the wound on Guccio's ear. Who hit you? How dare you hit my man? Ji Bei, who was bad-tempered, asked first. Su Qi frowned. What happened? Did Du Bing hit you? Si Nen narrowed his eyes. Guccio shook his head and looked very depressed. I fell down. I want to rest for a while. Guccio went upstairs. Ji Bei said to Guccio disdainfully, Isn't it just a woman? Women are unreliable. Who are you showing your sadness to? Don't cry. Guccio didn't say anything. He ignored the three men and went straight upstairs. This guy has a temper. Now he doesn't even care about me. Ji Bei complained, but his tone was full of worry. Si Nen curled the corner of his mouth, adjusted his collar, and said lightly, He is not happy with us. He can't forget the pain. Let him feel happy and forget about his girlfriend. Si Nen walked upstairs and Su Qi followed him. Ji Bei was stunned for a moment, and then his eyes lit up. I'll get the lubricant. Guccio was lying on the bed and crying when his buttocks were suddenly patted. Guccio turned around and saw the three men standing by the bed. Ji Bei was still holding a bottle in his hand. He immediately blushed. Chapter 1107. Seeing the three men standing by the bed, Guccio's heart trembled. When he saw the jar, his body went numb and weak. Guccio quickly stood up and asked, What are you doing? Didn't you break up with your boyfriend? We're going to comfort you, Si Nen said with a smile. No, just let me stay for a while. You can go out. Guccio said anxiously with a red face, I'm not that sad. I just didn't sleep well last night. Really? You can all go out. We're here to comfort you, but you're not grateful. Your salary for this month will be deducted, Ji Bei said rudely. Guccio had forgotten the pain of breaking up with his boyfriend. He just wanted these people to leave quickly. If they really wanted to do that kind of thing, the three of them couldn't handle it at all. Su Qi didn't say anything. He directly reached out and pushed Guccio onto the bed. What are you talking about? You just broke up with your boyfriend. Guccio waved his hand and watched the three men strip naked. They reached out and pulled his clothes. His body was played with almost every time. The three hands teased his body, making Guccio's skin pink and extremely ashamed. Don't do this. There are too many people. The four of them were naked and were as shy as they could be. In the past, it was always one-on-one. Now there were four people, which made Guccio unable to bear it. Guccio covered his face and bit his lips tightly to stop himself from gasping. Let me apply it, Ji Bei said excitedly. Guccio immediately felt a chill in his backside. His fingers went deep and the coolness of the lubricant went all the way to his back. His fingers swirled, making Guccio bite the quilt tightly. Enjoy! After Ning Shu and Guccio separated, he returned to the dormitory and poured the rest of the medicine into the toilet and flushed it away. After dealing with this, Ning Shu stretched, turned on the computer, and browsed the internet. He pinched his fingers. You're not the only one who knows how to post. Ning Shu registered an account with a fake IP address. Then he posted a post with the title, Male Assistant of a Male Star with the surname J. In the post, Ning Shu described their relationship in detail. Ning Shu's description was quite realistic. Ji Bei didn't dare to expose his relationship with Guccio at all. Firstly, it was for the sake of his fans. Ji Bei didn't even talk about dating because he was afraid of losing female fans, let alone coming out of the closet. Ji Bei basically relied on his female fans to support him. If these fans rebelled, it would be a huge blow to his career. Secondly, it was for Guqiu. He wanted to protect Guqiu. If it was made public, Guqiu would be attacked by crazy fans. Ning Shu's post was quickly clicked by people. Many people replied, guessing who this male celebrity was. Soon, someone said that the male celebrity with the surname J was Ji Bei. At the mention of Ji Bei's die-hard fans attacked like crazy, saying that their idol wouldn't like men. There were all kinds of arguments and comments in the post, and Ning Shu's post quickly became a hot topic. Some people suspected that Ning Shu was deliberately using this kind of post to attract attention. Ning Shu turned off his computer, turned on the GPS, and searched for the location of Guqiu and the other male leads. Ning Shu put on his curly hair and big glasses. He went to the location indicated by the GPS and found that it was a grassy shooting location. Ji Bei was shooting an advertisement. Guqiu held a towel and waited for Ji Bei to finish. When Ji Bei finished, Guqiu went up to wipe his sweat. Perhaps it was because of their intimate relationship, but this kind of action had a hint of ambiguity. Imagine two men. Usually, the one who needed to wipe their sweat would take the towel and wipe it himself. They wouldn't let the other man wipe their sweat for them. Ning Shu took a picture of this scene. The two went to the fitting room to change. The scene was busy, and people were taking props. No one noticed Ning Shu. Ning Shu also took a prop to cover his face and slipped into the dressing room. There was no one in the dressing room. Ning Shu went to the dressing room and heard rustling sounds. He could vaguely hear the voices of two people talking. Ning Shu turned on the recording pen and leaned close to the door of the dressing room. Although it was called a dressing room, it was actually a small cubicle for changing clothes. Take off my clothes. I'm too tired from shooting the advertisement. It was Ji Bei's voice. That's not very good. This is a dressing room. There are people coming and going, Guqiu said quickly. Ji Bei laughed. What are you thinking? I'm asking you to take off my clothes and change into new ones. I still have to shoot later. Are you disappointed? Don't worry. I'll satisfy you when we get back. Stop talking. Someone will hear you. No, everyone knows my rules. When I use the dressing room, no one else is allowed to enter. If the producer wants me to shoot an advertisement for him, he won't dare to break my rules. You can rest assured. But you still have to be careful. Guqiu's mouth was blocked. What are you doing? Shut your mouth. You're nagging. Ning Shu was speechless. Ning Shu shuddered when he imagined the two of them kissing in his mind. He shook his body and quickly left. It was already very good that he had recorded these words. Ning Shu left the lawn and went to the public toilet to change before returning to the dormitory. Ning Shu had to change his clothes several times a day. Just changing his clothes was enough to make people break down. He took off his clothes and put them on. It was never wrong to be cautious. If he was really caught by these people, he would probably die without a burial place. Whether or not he completed the mission was secondary. If he was killed, the mission would definitely fail. Not only would there be no reward, but he would also have to waste the amulet. Now that the exchange system was closed, the amulet couldn't be wasted. Ning Shu returned to the dormitory, created a virtual IP address, and started to post again. Ning Shu's post had already become a skyscraper. There were all kinds of discussions. Indeed, people liked to read this kind of news the most. Ning Shu started to post again. This time, he posted a photo of Guqiu wiping Ji Bei's sweat intimately. However, the face was mosaicked. There's a photo to prove the truth. The assistant of a male star with the surname J came out of the closet. Ning Shu was not in a hurry to release the recording. This was a great weapon. Of course, such intimate words had to be saved for last. The photo was taken during the day and was very clear. There was also the surrounding decorations in the photo. In fact, it was easy to guess who it was. Ning Shu's post was instantly seen by many people. Comments were everywhere. If the person in the photo looked like Ji Bei, it was most likely Ji Bei. Ji Bei's brainless fans still didn't believe it. In the end, Ji Bei's male assistant made the headlines. Ji Bei was having fun with Guqiu in the villa when Su Qi called to say that their relationship had been exposed. Ji-Bei quivered and actually leaked it. Chapter 1108. When Ji-Bei heard the news, his scalp tingled and he was stunned. Guqiu turned his head and looked at Ji-Bei with hazy eyes. He asked in a hoarse voice, "What's wrong?" Ji-Bei came to his senses. He pulled himself out of Guqiu's body and went to the bathroom to take a shower. Guqiu was still in a daze and his face was flushed. Something happened. Ji-Bei came out of the bedroom and said to Guqiu while putting on his clothes. At the same time, the bedroom door opened. Si-Nan and Su-Chi also came in and saw Guqiu naked. "Put on your clothes and we'll discuss it," Si-Nan said. "Okay." Guqiu saw their serious faces and obediently put on his clothes. The three men saw the marks on Guqiu's body. Although it was tempting, they had something to deal with now. If it was not handled well, Guqiu might be the one who would be hurt the most. The four of them sat on the sofa and looked at the post on the computer. When Ji-Bei saw the photo, he immediately roared, "What's wrong with these people? Didn't I tell you not to let the reporters in?" "Maybe it's not a reporter. It's a personal action," Si-Nan said. "If it's a reporter's action, this news should have appeared in a gossip magazine. Didn't I tell you to be careful?" Su-Chi looked at Ji-Bei with dissatisfaction. Guqiu looked at the content of the post and the photo. His face was completely pale and he looked terrified. "Guqiu, don't be afraid. We'll deal with it," Si-Nan said lightly. Guqiu was still in a trance. No one had found out before, so he could deceive himself. But now that the cover had been removed, Guqiu was terrified. He was afraid of other people's eyes. Guqiu's body trembled. Su-Chi pressed Guqiu into his arms and said, "You don't have to worry at all. I'll deal with it. You've underestimated our power." "Yes, Guqiu. Don't be afraid. I won't let you get hurt," Ji-Bei said hurriedly with guilt on his face. Si-Nan rubbed his lips with his fingers and said to Ji-Bei, "Go and make a statement. Say firmly that you have nothing to do with the assistant." "I'll ask someone to delete the post," Su-Chi said coldly. Si-Nan shook his head. "There's no need to delete it. What's the point of deleting it? If we delete it, it will only say that we're guilty. Now we have to divert the public's attention. Then we have to do something more sensational to guide public opinion." Si-Nan narrowed his eyes and stared at Guqiu. Ji-Bei quickly stood in front of Guqiu and said, "We can't push Guqiu out now. He'll be under a lot of pressure." Si-Nan sneered. "Do you think I have a primitive brain like you? Even if I want Guqiu to appear, she should appear in front of the public as a victim." Ji-Bei heaved a sigh of relief and asked, "Do you have any ideas?" Si-Nan narrowed his eyes and looked at Guqiu. Seeing that Guqiu had been absent-minded, he said, "What are you afraid of? It's just a groundless thing. Sooner or later, people will notice something wrong." "I have an idea now. Listen to me." When Guqiu saw the three pairs of eyes staring at her with worry, she calmed down. "What can you do?" Although Guqiu's voice was trembling, he was not as terrified as before. "Don't you still have a girlfriend who just broke up with you? This incident can turn into a love-hate relationship." "How?" Ji-Bei asked. He was eager to solve this matter, not only for Guqiu, but also for himself. Among the three men who shared Guqiu, he was the weakest. If this matter could not be solved, his future would be bleak. At that time, he would be even weaker in front of the other two men. Although he had decided to share Guqiu, he also had to fight for his own rights. Just say that it was done by Du Bing. The reason? Si-Nan pointed his slender finger at his forehead. The reason is to make a false accusation. Du Bing is vain. In order to climb up the social ladder and have enough money to enter the entertainment industry, she seduced me and climbed into my bed. After Guqiu knew the truth, he wanted to break up with Du Bing. Du Bing was unwilling to break up with Guqiu. In addition, someone took photos of them. Du Bing was afraid that things would go south, so she took the initiative to gain the upper hand. She slandered her boyfriend and Ji-Bei for having an improper and impure relationship. Si-Nan said in one breath and stared at Guqiu. "Now we only need evidence. And the evidence must be very real. There can't be any photos or videos that have been photoshopped. This is a good idea. In this way, Guqiu will stand on the moral high ground and be able to overturn the previous relationship between Guqiu and Jibei. Su Qi was the first to agree. He and Si Nan were the same kind of people. As long as they could achieve their goals, any means were good. And this was obviously a matter of killing two birds with one stone. It could not only solve the current dilemma, but also completely break the previous relationship between Guqiu and Du Bing. They would never be able to be together. If nothing went wrong, this time he could completely destroy the so-called love rival. Su Qi stared at Si Nan. No wonder this man could fight with the Su family for so long. He was a sinister and cunning person. Jibei looked at Guqiu and asked, "Guqiu, what do you think?" Guqiu quickly shook his head. He could not do such a thing. Besides, this matter had nothing to do with Du Bing. Did he really want to get Du Bing involved? After all, Guqiu was still a college student who had just left the ivory tower. He had never experienced such a thing. At the same time, he was afraid that his matter would be exposed and he would really implicate the innocent. Guqiu could not make a decision quickly. Si Nan and Su Qi looked at each other and could not help but shake their heads gently. They were not surprised that Guqiu did not agree. If Guqiu really agreed immediately, he would not be the Guqiu they loved. Guqiu was kind. It was something they did not appreciate and wanted to protect. Is there any other way? Du Bing has already broken up with me. She is innocent in this matter. Guqiu's eyes were a little red. Si Nan sighed. This is the best way. There is no better way than this. We don't know who the person who posted the post is. The IP address is also virtual. Maybe he wants to attract attention, but he accidentally saw through your relationship. This matter will not go down. Once he has tasted the sweetness, he will pursue it to the end. At that time, he will follow the vine to the melon. The four of us will definitely be exposed. There is no impenetrable wall in the world. We can't always be vigilant. The only way is to cover up this matter with one thing. Du Bing is the best choice. Do you want to see the four of us die together? You are not alone. The four of us are one. Si Nan looked at Guqiu with sad eyes, looking tired and sad. Chapter 1109. Si Nan, Su Qi, and Jibei stared at Guqiu. Guqiu was struggling, especially when he saw Si Nan's tired look. Si Nan had always been lazy and ruffian. It was rare to see him like this. These three men were trying to protect him. He was also a man. He couldn't hide like a woman. He had to do something for these three men. Guqiu bit his lips tightly. He had made a decision in his heart, but he couldn't say it. Suddenly, Guqiu's phone rang. Guqiu picked up the phone and a sharp female voice came from the other end. "Hello, I'm the chief editor of Shangming magazine. Are you really in that kind of relationship with Jibei?" Guqiu felt his head buzzing. "No, it's just a rumor. It's just a rumor." Guqiu hung up the phone with a pale face. Then his phone rang again. "Hello, I'm a reporter from XX Video. Is your relationship with Jibei like what people say?" "Hello, you're so ugly." Guqiu's face was pale, as if his soul had left his body. Jibei snatched the phone from Guqiu's hand and smashed it on the ground. "Forget it." Jibei suddenly grabbed Guqiu's hand. "Don't be embarrassed. Since this has happened, I won't be a star anymore. So be it. We'll leave this country and go abroad." Guqiu looked at Jibei in a daze. "But your career? It doesn't matter. I'll leave here and start over. I've had enough of these sneaky days. We're really in love. There's nothing to hide. It's just that the person I like is a man," Jibei said in a powerful and resonant voice. Su Qi grabbed Guqiu's other hand and stared at Jibei dangerously. He said in a low voice, "Jibei, don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. You just want to monopolize Guqiu and take him away. You're dreaming." Guqiu is kind-hearted. How could he do anything to hurt his ex-girlfriend? If you force him like this, I'd rather take him away. Anyway, we're the only ones exposed. You two are fine. Just admit it. Don't forget your fans and your career. Su Qi held Guqiu's hand tightly and held him tightly in his arms. "I like Guqiu. Maybe my fans can accept it." "Are you sure?" Su Qi asked coldly. Ji-Bei's expression froze as he stared at Guchio's ordinary face. He couldn't guarantee that his fans wouldn't attack Guchio. Guchio wiped her tears. I agree with Sinan's idea. Sinan raised the corner of his mouth and said, call Du Bing and ask her to meet us. We need to take photos and videos. Guchio opened his mouth and took out his mobile phone to call Du Bing. After calling twice, he said to Sinan helplessly, it's an invalid number. I can't get through. Sinan raised his eyebrows. Su Qi took out his phone, dialed a number, and asked directly, where is Du Bing now? Su Qi's frown deepened. He hung up and said, Du Bing is no longer in this city. The people I sent to follow Du Bing said that Du Bing bought a train ticket to her hometown. My people saw her get on the train with their own eyes. Sinan rubbed between his eyebrows. This Du Bing. Then what should we do now? The best candidate is gone. Ji-Bei was also very frustrated. Of course, he couldn't give up his career. Sinan said faintly, you make an announcement first. Ning Shu bought a train ticket and got on the train, but she got off the train at the next station. She went to the next city, found a rented house, and found a shift job in a small supermarket. This was the disadvantage of modern times. A slightly difficult job required a professional qualification certificate, or the company wouldn't hire her. If it were in ancient times, Ning Shu could earn a living by being a traveling doctor or doing some religious ceremonies. But now people didn't believe in this, let alone taking the medicine of a doctor without a professional qualification. The reason why Ning Shu had temporarily left that place was mainly because the three mountains were in that city and she was alone. It was too easy to deal with her alone. It was just a strategic retreat. The most important thing for her now was to destroy the three mountains. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to live in peace for the rest of her life. She couldn't start over and hide like a mouse. AIDS was nothing. Even if Du Bing was forced to die, she would expose the dirty things between these people and see what it was like. Ning Shu got off work from the small supermarket and went back to the rented house. She turned on the computer and saw a long statement posted by Ji-Bei on Weibo. He explained why the two men were wiping their sweat intimately in the picture. He explained that he was too tired to lift his hands and asked his assistant to wipe his sweat. He would use legal means to deal with such groundless accusations. He would not tolerate it. Ning Shu patted her chest. Damn, she was scared to death. This statement was not for Ning Shu, but for the fans and reporters. They couldn't find Ning Shu at all. Ning Shu went to read her post again. Ji-Bei's fans were cheering. Don't you know how hard our idol worked? He only slept for 3 hours every day. Do you know how hard it was to make him? 3 hours? I'm afraid it's going to take 3 hours. Ning Shu looked at the comments and couldn't help but twitch her lips. Who didn't work hard in this world? With this kind of glory, wasn't it only right to put in effort worthy of this glory? If you want to wear the crown, you have to bear its weight. Ning Shu smiled faintly and took out the USB flash drive. Groundless accusations. I'll slap you in the face now. She didn't release the recording beforehand. It was meaningless to release her trump card at once. It would be more interesting if she played one card at a time. Ning Shu posted again. This time, she added a recording. The third one is a recording of the two of them flirting. It's natural. You can identify the voices. It's definitely their voices. Many people were staring at Ning Shu, mainly to see what Ning Shu would reveal. As soon as Ning Shu's post appeared, these people swarmed over. Ji-Bei's fans wailed in disbelief. Ji-Bei smashed his computer when he saw the post. What's the point of smashing it? You're a public figure. Don't you know how to be careful outside? Sinan said coldly. Ji-Bei was so angry that his face turned blue. He called the film crew and the factory. Ji-Bei had a hot temper. Besides, he had been secretly recorded during the shoot. He couldn't hold back his anger. I've already said that no one is allowed to enter my dressing room. Why did you let someone in and even cause such a thing? I'm not going to shoot your advertisement anymore. I'm not going to shoot it anymore. Ji-Bei vented his anger on these people. Chapter 11:10. Ji-Bei's temper was really unbearable. Ji-bei felt that it was the fault of the crew and the factory that he had been photographed. If they hadn't strictly checked, how could they have let someone sneak in? Ji-bei scolded them, and the factory was stunned. They were the ones who paid the money. Didn't they say that the one who paid the money was the boss? They just wanted to use the celebrity effect to increase the sales of the product. Ji-bei really thought that he was the boss. He used a separate dressing room. He was doing this and that because he was famous. If celebrities were placed in ancient times, they would be considered as actors and actresses. They would be despicable things. They were really going to ascend to heaven. They were in the product business. Even without Ji-bei, there were other celebrities. What was more, Ji-bei was deeply involved in the scandal of coming out of the closet. If he was boycotted, their product would be unlucky. Ji-bei shouted on the phone that he didn't want to shoot the commercial. The factory said directly, "It's okay if you don't want to shoot it, but you'll have to pay 3 times the penalty for breaching the contract first." Ji-bei was even angrier when he heard that. "It's just 3 times the penalty. I don't want to shoot it." Ji-bei smashed the phone and fidgeted with his hair. He asked Si-nan and Su-chi, "What should we do now? Du Bing has disappeared." Si-nan touched his chin and looked at Ji-bei with contempt. "I really don't know how you became famous with your IQ and EQ. I'm handsome," Ji-bei said impatiently. "Now is not the time to mock me. If you don't have Du Bing, find someone else. Do you have a suitable female star?" Si-nan said to Ji-bei. "If you can't use a female star, you can use your anti-fans to attack you." "A female star." Ji-bei touched his chin. "I have a woman I hate very much. She's Su Shishwang. She disgusts me." Su Shishwang was just a third-rate star. She didn't have any works. She wanted to sleep with Ji-bei many times in order to create a scandal. Ji-bei was such a proud person. How could he fall in love with such a woman? However, this woman liked to say ambiguous things in front of the public, as if they had something to do with each other. Ji-bei was so disgusted that he immediately thought of this woman as soon as Si-nan mentioned her. Si-nan narrowed his eyes and looked at Ji-bei. "You should know what to do. If you do something bad again, even God can't save you. You'd better leave Guchio obediently. This is all because of you. If you don't solve it, you don't have the right to stay by Guchio's side," Su-chi said. At this moment, they were of the same mind as Si-nan. Every competitor they could get rid of was a good thing. Ji-bei's expression turned ugly. Of course, he knew what the two men were thinking. If this matter couldn't be resolved perfectly, he would be eliminated. Ji-bei looked at Guchio. He would never leave Guchio. He was the one who had Guchio first. It was these two shameless people who came in and were forced to share Guchio. The plan was ready, and now it was time to put it into action. Ji-bei called the third-rate celebrity, Su Shishwang, and made an appointment at a hotel. She hadn't expected that a superstar like Ji-bei would call her and ask her out. She dressed herself up and went to the appointment. Ji-bei looked at the gaudy Su Shishwang and really didn't want to open his eyes. But for the sake of the plan, he had to be polite. "Ji-bei, are you looking for me?" Su Shishwang stared at Ji-bei and behaved ambiguously. Ji-bei waved away Su Shishwang's hand on his shoulder and said coldly, "Don't think that I don't know that you did this." "What did I do?" Su Shishwang was a little confused and then asked, "Why did you ask me to come here? Did you do this to me and my assistant? Just because I didn't sleep with you at that time, you took revenge on me like this?" Ji-bei stared at Su Shishwang sharply. "Aren't you too despicable? I don't know what you're talking about. This has nothing to do with me. I'm leaving." Su Shishwang felt that something was wrong, so she didn't have time to tempt Ji-bei. Ji-bei stopped Su Shishwang. "I must get to the bottom of this today. Are you trying to blackmail me?" "I don't know. I didn't do this." Su Shishwang hurriedly denied. No matter how Su Shishwang denied it, Ji-bei's words were ambiguous. It seemed that he was certain that Su Shishwang had done this. In any case, it was obvious that Su Shishwang had done this to take revenge on him. After Su Shishwang left, Ji-bei took out the SLR camera hidden in the corner. Su Shishwang was an artist under Su-chi's company. Su-chi had specially arranged a drinking party with the director and producer and asked Su Shishwang to accompany them. It was obvious what would happen if a female star accompanied them at a drinking party. Su Qi asked someone to take a picture of Su Shishuang's embarrassing appearance. She even took off her clothes. After that, something indescribable happened and Su Qi asked someone to record it. However, in order to become famous, Su Shishuang was really reluctant to do anything. The entertainment industry was a place where fame and fortune were countless times greater. Although they were fully prepared, Ji Bei, Sinan, and Su Qi were not in a hurry to release the evidence. They were waiting for the right opportunity. The news of Ji Bei's male assistant who came out of the closet became more and more popular. Many people attacked Guqiu on the internet. Some people released Guqiu's photos. Guqiu was a very ordinary-looking man. Naturally, he was not photogenic. In fact, he was even uglier on camera. Some people said that Guqiu was ugly, especially Ji Bei's fans, who attacked Guqiu crazily. They said that Ji Bei would not like such an ugly man and that such an ugly man was not worthy of their idol. The public was agitated. Now, Guqiu basically did not go out. He was depressed every day. Some crazy fans even waited at the entrance of the company. As soon as Guqiu went out, he was thrown stones and rotten vegetables. The madness of fans was very scary. Some fans were even willing to die for their idol. It was conceivable that Guqiu's situation was very bad now. The three of them stared at the words that attacked Guqiu and their faces turned ugly. Sinan kicked Ji Bei. Look at what you've done. You're simply useless. Ji Bei was in pain from Sinan's kick. He grimaced in pain, but silently endured it and said, "Is it time to reverse the direction now?" Sinan nodded. "It's about time. We can take action." "You're not allowed to touch Guqiu for 2 months, Su Qi said coldly. "This is the punishment." Ji Bei was depressed. He could not have sex with Guqiu for 2 months. It was really killing him. However, he had no choice because it was indeed his fault. Chapter 11:11. Just as everyone was talking about Ji Bei coming out of the closet to fight against the ugly assistant, the situation took a shocking turn. A famous paparazzi in the entertainment industry shot a video and posted it on his Weibo, claiming that Ji Bei's affair wasn't that simple. He claimed that Ji Bei had offended a despicable person who had deliberately fabricated such a groundless thing to slander Ji Bei. Soon, the video went viral, and Su Shishuang became the talk of the town. No matter how much Su Shishuang tried to explain that she didn't do such a thing and didn't ask anyone to post it, no one was willing to listen to her. People were calling her a bitch on Weibo, and a lot of internet trolls appeared. The happiest people were Ji Bei's fans. They were so happy that they almost cried. They were happy that their idol didn't like that ugly man. They rushed to Ningshu's post to cheer and despise Ningshu. Ningshu was speechless. Ningshu looked at the video and couldn't help but shake his head. These people really liked to trample on innocent people. After she left, she didn't expect another person to take the blame. However, the video she had recorded was absolutely true. These people ignored it and only accepted the truth. They didn't even think about it. They were controlled by public opinion. There was too much information on the internet, and it was impossible to distinguish what was true and what was false. This wasn't the end. Then, there were photos of Su Shishuang drinking with people. In the photos, Su Shishuang was being taken advantage of. His hands were touching her thighs and breasts. There were also photos of her in bed. There were all kinds of unsightly photos that degraded Su Shishuang to be worse than a prostitute. Su Shishuang didn't dare to post anything on Weibo. Once she did, she would be criticized endlessly. They said that Su Shishuang was despicable and that Su Shishuang was scheming to climb up the social ladder. Just because Ji Bei didn't sleep with her and didn't want to have a scandal with her, she used this method to slander him. This kind of scum should get out of the entertainment industry. Su Shishuang's departure from the entertainment industry was pushed to the headlines on Weibo. Ningshu looked at Ji Bei's vigorous counterattack and couldn't help but sneer. These men were obviously lecherous. Everyone was blaming women. Damn it. In the dirty video, the man's face was mosaic, revealing Su Shishuang's face. Ningshu's heart was filled with curses. No matter what kind of person Su Shishuang usually was, she was really wronged in this matter. She was pushed out by the 4 people to divert the public's attention. Just like how he dealt with Du Bing back then. In the end, many celebrities came out to trample on Su Shishwang. The director and producers said that they would not use such an actress. Su Shuang was not allowed to attend any awards or charity events. Not long after, Su Shishwang seemed to be standing against the entire human race. Everywhere she went, people were attacking her. It was as if they couldn't keep up with the trend if they didn't scold Su Shishwang. However, this Su Shishwang was also valiant. It was unknown whether it was because she had nothing left to lose, but she directly posted on Weibo, "I'm just a hostess, I'm just having sex with someone, that's all." She said the name of the man who was present at the scene. Director Lu's penis was especially small. When it was erect, it wasn't even as long as an index finger. The size was the smallest type of instant noodles and ham sausage. Producer Lee couldn't do it at all. He had to take medicine every time. After taking the medicine, he was still weak. He couldn't do it at all. Every time, he had to pretend to enjoy it. Director Wei liked to wear lace high heels and let others whip him. He was a lover. In the end, she also said the name of the celebrity who drank with them that day. She said that they were all played. Why did they pretend to be noble and trample on her? Everyone was stunned at first, and then they all scolded Su Shishwang for being shameless. However, many people were also discussing the eccentricities of these big directors in the entertainment industry. Entertainment dramas really came one after another. It was too much for the eyes to take in. Ning Shu was also stunned. After all, people in the entertainment industry were thick-skinned and had good psychological quality. If Du Bing had half of Su Shishwang's psychological quality, she would not have been forced to jump into the well. You don't have any loss to others if you die. Don't think that you can take revenge on these people by hurting yourself. However, after this incident, Su Shishwang was driven out of the company by Su Qi. The company issued a statement that they would never cooperate with such a morally corrupt star. Sinan looked at the computer and couldn't help but shake his head. After all, she is a person who has been in the entertainment industry for a long time. If it was Du Bing, she would only be stupid and not refute. It's not as easy as expected. This Su Shishwang, she's really shameless. Ji Bei looked at Su Shishwang's Weibo post. Su Qi stared at the computer. We still have to think of a way. This matter didn't achieve the expected goal at all. Su Shishwang alone can't cover up this matter at all. Moreover, this Su Shishwang was simply a shameless woman. Once a person became shameless, they could do anything. Sinan stared at Ji Bei. This is the candidate you recommended. A woman who always wants to rely on unspoken rules to get to the top has no sense of shame at all. A good thing has been ruined. Ji Bei's face darkened. How would I know that this woman would be so shameless? Su Qi couldn't bear to look directly at him. He couldn't help but say, the list of people exposed by this woman is all under my company. You can't drag my company down anymore. It's your turn, Su Qi said to Sinan. This matter had an impact on Su Qi's company. When it came to Director Lu, the reaction of ordinary people was, oh, it's the one with the small penis. When it came to Director Wei, oh, he was a lover. It even had an impact on the company. Su Qi suddenly turned his head and looked at Sinan. Are you deliberately consuming the strength of my company? You think too much. Su Shishwang is an artist under your company. Of course, it won't arouse suspicion if it's done by your company's people. Sinan spread out his hands and said. Sinan's eyes were shining. The more Su Qi thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. Such a scandal had happened in the company. Several directors, producers, and stars were involved, which also affected the company's reputation. Sinan, you are too insidious. Su Qi frowned tightly and stared at Sinan dangerously. A mountain couldn't accommodate 2 tigers, let alone 2 people who had been fighting with each other for so many years. Even if they could temporarily reconcile because of Guqiu, they would not give up the idea of monopolizing Guqiu in their hearts. Sinan said helplessly, how am I insidious? This female star was chosen by Ji Bei. Ji Bei is an artist under your company. It's also because of Ji Bei that the matter was exposed. How am I insidious? How am I insidious? Su Qi frowned. Although he said so, it was true that he and Ji Bei had suffered losses in this matter, but Sinan was sitting steadily and didn't suffer any losses at all. He stayed out of the right and wrong. Chapter 11-12. The matter did not go well. Although Su Shishuang was criticized on the internet, she was a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water. She had already planned it, but unfortunately, Ji Bei was a stupid teammate. If there was another wave of trouble and another scapegoat to divert the public's attention, the onlookers would be numb. The same trick was not very effective the second time. Ji Bei, you should apologize with your life. Sinan stretched out his long leg to kick Ji Bei, who quickly dodged. I didn't want it to happen. Who knew this would happen? If I find out who did it, I'll eat him alive, Ji Bei said with a ferocious face. Ji Bei looked haggard and decadent. He no longer had the fearless momentum he used to have. He was deeply involved in the scandal. If he was alone, he would not care at all. However, Guqiu was implicated, which made Ji Bei panic. He was afraid of losing Guqiu. This incident had lowered his status to the lowest. He was more and more powerless in the secret competition between the three of them. Maybe he would be kicked out. Pig brain. Su Qi could not help rubbing his eyebrows. Stop quarreling. The most important thing now is to solve the problem, Guqiu said quickly when he saw the three men quarreling. It's all because of me. Why don't I leave? Guqiu said. The recent events had put a lot of pressure on him. His face was much thinner, and his eyes were deep and bloodshot. No, you have to hold on. Leaving is not a good solution. Sinan was the first to object. The other two also did not agree with Guqiu's departure. What would happen to their happy sex life if he left? Sinan reached out and touched Guqiu's head. His eyes were shining as he said gently, "You don't need to worry at all. We'll deal with it. The entertainment circle is just our backyard. We'll definitely deal with it well. Don't underestimate your boyfriends." But I can't do anything. What do I want to do for you? Guqiu said with a red face, I can't always rely on you to protect me. I also want to protect you. Sinan smiled and put his hand on Guqiu's thigh. Who said you're useless? You make us very happy. Guqiu's face turned red. Sinan grabbed Guqiu's arm and pulled him into the bedroom. Su Qi followed him. Seeing that they were about to do it, Ji Bei hurriedly went upstairs as well. Su Qi blocked Ji Bei. You're not allowed to touch Guqiu for 2 months. This is your punishment. Ji Bei was so angry that he was gasping for breath. However, when he thought about it, he realized that this matter was indeed because of him. Ji Bei stood outside the door and stared at the door. Listening to the sounds coming from inside, Ji Bei felt very uncomfortable. His body was very hot, but there was no way to relieve it. You're such a torturous soybean milk machine. Su Shishuang's matter was still hot, especially since Ji Bei's fans scolded Su Shishuang every day. From time to time, he would post negative comments about Su Shishuang, wishing that Su Shishuang would die immediately. This kind of moral scum should die. However, this Su Shishuang was traveling everywhere, taking selfies and posting delicious food. He sighed at how beautiful Rome was. Then, he went to the Australian farm to harvest wool. Then, he sighed at how delicious the king crab was. As soon as Su Shishuang posted it, it caused the crowd to be angry. This kind of immoral person actually lived so well. What kind of fucking society was this? Su Shishuang's Weibo was filled with all kinds of nasty comments. They said that Su Shishuang used her body to exchange for money and still had the nerve to flaunt her wealth. Su Shishuang replied directly, I used my body to earn money. I didn't steal or rob. So what? If you have the ability, use your body to earn money too. Ning Shu was speechless. This was the first time that Ning Shu had seen such a valiant person. So, shameless. Indeed, a person's shamelessness was invincible. She didn't care about her face and nothing could hurt her. Du Bing was driven to death by the surrounding public opinion and the shame in her heart. Ning Shu specially created a Weibo account and went to like Su Shishuang, saying that Su Shishuang frowned and coldly faced thousands of criticisms. Ning Shu's comment was probably very special among the scolding. Su Shishuang actually started chatting with Ning Shu amidst the scolding. Ning Shu felt quite drunk. Because Su Shishuang didn't care about other people's opinions and feelings. She was selfish and shameless. The deepest trick that people had been through was that they didn't prioritize other people's needs, so they were labeled as selfish. Ning Shu got another trick. If she could be shameless, she would be shameless. It didn't mean that she was shameless, but she didn't care too much about other people's opinions. These people wouldn't give her a bite to eat or a penny to eat, and she was so tired. In the end, the comment section was full of Ning Shu and Su Shishuang's chat. In fact, Su Shishuang was quite helpless. She didn't care about scolding her. Her skin was so thick that it was invincible. Ning Shu, who was in front of the computer, moved his neck and made a cracking sound. She didn't know what Sinan and the others would do, but she was going to do it now. Ning Shu's previous post had been scolded by Jibei's fans, but he didn't care. There were also people who scolded Ning Shu's parents, saying that Ning Shu's family was cremated. Ning Shu, I'm so angry. Ning Shu posted another post. The title of the post was, The Relationship Between Jibei and Su Qi, the President of Chiefin Group. Ning Shu wrote a long article, saying that Su Qi pushed his artist, Su Shishuang, out to protect Jibei, who had come out of the closet. He deliberately took photos and made dirty videos. In the end, he concluded that there was definitely an unspeakable relationship between the two of them. Ning Shu pressed the enter key. The post was posted, and soon it attracted a crowd of onlookers. Ning Shu's analysis was clear and logical. Jibei's fans were about to cry. They asked Ning Shu which star had sent him to slander their idol. He was just jealous of their idol's beauty. He was despicable and shameless. Many replies discussed the relationship between the two of them. Actually, Su Qi was the one who came out of the closet for Jibei? Jibei is Su Qi's assistant. The rich circle is really messy, but Su Qi can accept it. He's not an ugly assistant. Many people said that Ning Shu was deliberately talking nonsense to attract attention. Take it slow. The truth would come out sooner or later. Some reporters would be interested in this gossip and would definitely get to the bottom of it. Maybe it would be better if the 4P incident was exposed. After Ning Shu posted the post, Su Shishuang posted on Weibo. Fuck. I was wondering why Jibei, who had always ignored me, suddenly asked me out. I wasn't even invited to dinner with those big directors and producers, so he suddenly asked me out. Su Qi, fuck your ancestors. Su Shishuang had been kicked out by Su Qi, so she didn't hold back at all. Chapter 11:13. Su Qi's company directly warned Su Shishuang that if she dared to talk nonsense again, they would be ready to go to court. Su Shishuang curled her lips and didn't dare to say anything, but she didn't delete her Weibo. Su Qi's company sent a lawyer's letter to Ning Shu through the Tieba forum, intending to sue Ning Shu for damaging his reputation. Ning Shu pretended that he didn't see anything. What she said was true. She was not afraid of being sued, and these people could find her. Su Qi's company was busy with public relations, saying that Jibei was just an ordinary artist under the company. There was no improper relationship. After the statement was made, Jibei's fans went to Ning Shu's post to complain. They wanted to prove that their idol was innocent. Ning Shu felt tired for them as she watched them run away. There will be crueler things in front of you in the future. Don't cry now. Ning Shu looked at his mobile phone. It was time to go to work. This time, it was not Jibei who smashed the computer, but Su Qi. Jibei stayed aside with no expression. Anyway, the development of the matter had gone in an uncontrollable direction. Anyway, now that another person was involved, Jibei strangely felt that there was nothing to be afraid of. He was not worried at all. It was as if there was a tall man holding up the sky when it collapsed. Su Qi stared at Sinan and increasingly felt that this was Sinan's conspiracy. He could not only defeat his company, but also monopolize Guqiu. Sinan touched his chin and said, "We must find the person who posted this. I feel that this person knows us like the back of his hand. Maybe he will say something earth-shattering at any time." "I think so. I think it was you who did this. You deliberately asked someone to post this." Su Qi stared at Sinan sharply. Si Nan was stunned for a moment, and then he came to his senses and saw 3 pairs of eyes staring at him. Si Nan cared about Guqiu the most. Seeing Guqiu's eyes were shining and she looked a little hurt, he couldn't help frowning. Why did I do this? What's in it for me? The advantage is that you can attack my company and get Guqiu. Su Qi sneered and said, maybe your feelings for Guqiu are fake. You want Guqiu to achieve your purpose. What purpose? Si Nan said with a sullen face, Su Qi, don't try to confuse me. I don't have any purpose. I want to solve this problem more than anyone else. Just as you said, the other party is very familiar with us and even knows our plan. Who else could it be but one of us? Su Qi said coldly. Now that the other party has dug out the relationship between Ji Bei and me, I suspect that he has lost his appetite. Perhaps he knows. Si Nan looked at Ji Bei, who was confused. Why are you looking at me? I didn't do anything. He had been embroiled in scandals recently, and his work had decreased by a lot. His career had declined a lot, and some of his fans were exhausted under such torment. She only said that she would always support him. Who knew what would happen? He even paid 3 times the advertising fee. Previously, those people were queuing up to invite him to shoot commercials and movies. But now, they were ignoring him. Did you expose it on purpose? Si Nan asked Ji Bei. Me? Ji Bei pointed at himself in disbelief. Am I sick or crazy? How could such a thing be exposed? Isn't there a lot of talk about me? Si Nan took a deep breath. It's useless for us to quarrel here. The most important thing now is to find out the person who posted it. Si Nan narrowed his eyes slightly and thought. Do you think the person who posted it might be Du Bing? Guqiu shook her head. It shouldn't be Du Bing. Besides, she doesn't know about our relationship at all. I never told her. Du Bing has already left. This matter has little to do with her, Su Qi said. The impossible is the most likely. You haven't been with Du Bing. I always think it's her. Si Nan rubbed his lips with his fingers. She didn't contact you after you broke up with her? Si Nan asked Guqiu. Guqiu shook her head. She even changed her phone number. Does it mean that she doesn't want to contact me? Don't waste time on strange people. The most important thing now is to find out the person who posted it. Find a professional. They will definitely be able to find out who this person is, Su Qi said. Now the reporters won't let go of this matter. The matter between the 4 of us will be exposed sooner or later. We have to be prepared. Su Qi glared at Ji Bei. You're useless. Ji Bei was speechless. Su Qi scolded him every time. He was useless. Ning Shu went home after work. He turned on his computer and saw a lawyer's letter asking Ning Shu to stop spreading rumors. Otherwise, Ning Shu would be held legally responsible. They were already investigating and collecting evidence. Ning Shu took a sip of water and began to post again. The true relationship between Ji Bei and Su Qi. You all guessed wrong. Ji Bei and Su Qi are love rivals. They are fighting over the male assistant, but now they are very harmonious. Because they share the male assistant. Ning Shu used a virtual IP address to post the post. As soon as Ning Shu posted the post, someone over there captured Ning Shu. Si Nan asked, where is this person? City. A person clicked the mouse and said, it should be a virtual IP address. Last time, it was in City T. She can't be traced based on the IP address. Her IP address changes all the time. Today she is in City T, tomorrow she may be in City A. Si Nan frowned. This person, then it can't be Du Bing. I've been with Du Bing for 2 years. She doesn't have this ability. Besides, she doesn't major in computing. Guqiu shook his head. Looking at the new post, he felt hopeless. I want to leave here, Guqiu said with a pale face. Now some people on the internet had begun to search for him. They listed his life experience, which school he had attended in primary school and secondary school. Don't be afraid. We will take care of it. If we can't even protect you, it will be a joke, Si Nan said hurriedly. I don't think our relationship can last. It is incestuous. I will ruin your future. I want to leave here. You can send me abroad. Guqiu only wanted to escape now. He couldn't bear the stares of the people around him and the public opinion. He hadn't been out for a long time. He felt that there were malicious eyes around him. Both men and women were staring at his buttocks with strange eyes. He wanted to find a place where he could live without being recognized. Good Qiu, I will go with you. Let's go abroad and leave this place together. Ji Bei immediately said, let's find a place where no one knows us and start a new life. Ji Bei wanted to leave with Gu Qiu if he could get rid of these two men. Chapter 11:14. He was the one who met Gu Qiu first, but he was forced to share her with these two men. You're not allowed to go anywhere without my permission, Su Qi said domineeringly. He stared at Ji Bei dangerously. If you want to leave, you can. But you're not qualified to take Gu Qiu away. All this happened because of you. How dare you take Gu Qiu away? Are you a man? Su Qi's voice was full of disdain. Ji Bei clenched his fists so tightly that the veins on the back of his hands stood out. Gu Qiu, are you really going to leave us? Are you really going to leave us? Sinan looked at Gu Qiu with sadness in his eyes. Gu Qiu didn't dare to look at Sinan's eyes. She lowered her head and said, I want to leave. It's better for everyone. I told you. You have to believe us. Sinan reached out and rubbed Gu Qiu's head. Gu Qiu bit her lip and didn't speak for a long time. While the three of them were fighting among themselves, Ning Shu thought for a while and posted another post. The last one. The love and hate between Ji Bei, Su Qi, Sinan, and Gu Qiu. Ning Shu described in detail what had happened between the four of them, and it was a complete NP. Ning Shu decided not to post anymore. The more he did, the easier it would be for him to give himself away. Anyway, she had already exposed the things between the four of them. It was up to the onlookers and the media. Seeing Ning Shu's post, everyone was speechless. They couldn't believe that this ugly man could be so charming. Many boys said that they also had the ability to climb into Su Qi and Sinan's bed. What kind of taste was this? Ning Shu logged out of her account and never posted again. The post soon became a hot topic, but it was too strange. Many people couldn't believe their eyes. And it was such an eye-catching thing. They said that it was reasonable if Su Qi, Sinan, and Ji Bei were fooling around. But why was there an ugly assistant in the middle? It was a completely different style. It was acceptable to be gay, provided that the man was handsome. The gossip reporters heard the news and wanted to investigate the love and hate entanglement between the two big shots and the assistant of a superstar in the entertainment circle. This time, it was Sinan who smashed a computer. Who on earth was this person? It was one of the busiest years in the entertainment circle. Gu Qiu was also being insulted on the internet, just like Du Bing. However, there were also internet trolls who tried to distract the public by saying that these were not facts and that someone had fabricated such facts for the sake of sensationalism. Instead, it made this matter more and more heated. Sinan directly asked someone to delete the post. Such a post couldn't be kept. Gu Qiu was even more afraid to go out now. His mental state was getting worse. The three men didn't know how to make Gu Qiu happy, especially when Gu Qiu was in such a bad state. They couldn't possibly do it together. Moreover, Gu Qiu's health was not good recently. She often had a fever and night sweats, and she was getting thinner and thinner. She could not eat. No amount of cold medicine would work. The other three also had the same symptoms. They just thought that Gu Qiu had infected them with a cold. After all, he was always with Gu Qiu and took care of her. Gu Qiu's mental state was very bad. Sometimes, she would cry for no reason, which made the three men anxious, just as he was wondering if he should bring Gu Qiu out of the country so that Gu Qiu would not be under too much pressure. Gu Qiu actually slit her wrist and committed suicide. Ji Bei was the first to discover that Gu Qiu had committed suicide. He panicked and called the ambulance. Being sandwiched between the three men made Gu Qiu feel very ashamed. He couldn't choose one of them. He didn't want to hurt anyone, so he chose out of fear. In this way, the four of them maintained a strange relationship. In addition, now that their relationship had been exposed, Gu Qiu couldn't bear it. Finding that Gu Qiu had committed suicide, the three men quickly sent her to the hospital. They were extremely anxious. However, the three men sent Gu Qiu to the hospital together and were photographed by a reporter. In addition, after learning that Guqiu had committed suicide, the news was widely reported. With a cold face, Nan directly made the magazine close down, which was like a thunderbolt. Su Qi also used the same method. If anyone dared to report this news, he would kill him. In the supermarket, Ning Shu was watching the news on the big LCD screen. Guqiu had committed suicide. Ning Shu was expressionless. How could the protagonist die? She couldn't die. Now, it was up to these people how to torture her. Guqiu had lost a lot of blood and needed a blood transfusion. The hospital tested Guqiu's blood and found that there were very few white blood cells in his blood. White blood cells were the phagocytic virus, the most important part of the human immune system. If he hadn't been infected with a virus, there wouldn't have been so few white blood cells. However, the blood type was tested first. The doctor carefully checked Guqiu's body and found that there were many lymph nodes in his groin and chin. The blood test showed that it was HIV positive. The doctor went out of the ward. The three men surrounded her and asked anxiously, "How is it?" "He's fine. Fortunately, he didn't lose a lot of blood, but..." The doctor paused. "But what?" Ji Bei asked anxiously at once. "But the patient is infected with AIDS. He is HIV positive," the doctor said. The doctor's words shocked the three men out of their bodies. They didn't come to their senses for a long time. AIDS? Guqiu had AIDS, which was easy to be infected. The three of them might also be infected. This is impossible." Ji Bei's voice was trembling. Su Qi and Nan didn't speak, but their faces were also pale. "Now we're going to do a blood test." Although Nan looked calm, his hands were trembling. If Guqiu had AIDS, they might also be infected. Because they didn't wear any protective measures, some of the virus was sometimes released in Guqiu's body. The three men, who were always in a group, went to do a HIV test with pale faces. They drew their blood and waited for the result with difficulty. "Ji Bei!" the young nurse shouted. When Ji Bei got up from the chair, he staggered and went to the window with his hands on the wall. The young nurse, wearing gloves, handed the test result to Ji Bei. "You have AIDS." The young nurse's eyes were full of pity and disdain. Ji Bei looked at the paper. It said that he was HIV positive. Nan, HIV positive. Su Qi, HIV positive. All three of them were infected with HIV. The three of them were infected with the virus. For a moment, they couldn't believe that such a thing would happen to them. How could people like them get this disease? Moreover, it was impossible to tell who was the one who had infected whom. If one of them was infected, they couldn't escape. "Are you the one? Are you the one? Are you the one?" The three of them pointed at each other. "I'm a clean person. Before I met Guqiu, I didn't know that I liked men. There was no chance for me to be infected with this disease," Ji Bei said in a trembling voice. Chapter 11:15. The four of them were diagnosed with AIDS. It was like a nightmare. Their bodies were so light that they couldn't come back to their senses. AIDS was not like a cold, which could be cured by taking some cold medicine and taking some fluids. The longer the virus was infected, the more damage it would cause to the body. Because it attacked the human immune system, if the human body was infected with any virus, without the protection of the immune system, it could cause all kinds of serious infections and induce all kinds of malignant tumors. It was easy to get cancer and finally die. This was not the main point. The most important thing was that some pathogens could invade the brain tissue. In serious cases, people might become dementia. The point was that there was no special medicine for AIDS. It was also a highly contagious disease. Once people knew that they were infected with AIDS, the people around them would avoid them. They were even more terrifying than monsters. Su Qi sat in a chair and wiped his face with a dull expression. "What should we do now?" Su Qi had a fiancée, and he was the only son of the Su family. If he had children with a woman, the descendants of the Su family would all be infected with AIDS. "Was it you? I heard that you asked several male artists to serve you. Did you get AIDS first and spread it to us?" Su Qi stared at Nan with red eyes. Nan's face was pale. "I did find a few male artists, but I didn't touch them at all. I just watched them perform. Nen frowned tightly. It can't be that I got infected first. Haven't you slept with other men? I swear I haven't slept with a man before, Suchi said. You can also get AIDS if you sleep with a woman. Nen said coldly, don't forget that AIDS has an incubation period. Maybe you've been infected long ago. Fuck, we're not talking about who got infected first. The problem is that all 4 of us are infected. Are we going to wait for death? Ji-Bei roared when he saw the 2 of them quarreling. Nen was very agitated and pursed his lips tightly. The patient is awake. You can go to see him, the nurse came out and said to the 3 of them. When she passed by the 3 of them, she subconsciously bypassed them. Nen pursed his lips tightly and looked extremely cold. The 3 of them entered the ward and saw Guqiu on the bed looking out of the window with his head tilted. Because of excessive blood loss, Guqiu's face was so pale that it was almost transparent. He looked very haggard. Guqiu, why did you commit suicide? Nen reached out and pulled the quilt for Guqiu. Guqiu turned around. I don't want to implicate you. The 3 of them looked at each other. Suchi said, we didn't implicate you. We already said that the 3 of us will take care of this matter. But I don't want to maintain this relationship anymore. I don't want to hurt you. Guqiu's tears flowed down. Then he wiped it away with his hand. I was originally a man, but now that I'm with you, why do I like to cry so much? Useless. When you leave the hospital, we'll take you abroad, Nen said. Guqiu smiled and closed her eyes to rest. None of them told Guqiu that he was infected with AIDS. After leaving the ward, Nen took the lead and said, then send Guqiu away. We must make a good plan. Don't tell anyone that we are infected with AIDS, ahem. Nen covered his mouth and coughed. Suchi nodded. A momentary indulgence would have unimaginable and cruel consequences. Ji-Bei pulled at his hair. How could I have encountered such a thing? Since it's already like this, what we need to do is to block the news and actively treat him, Nen said coldly. I must find out the truth about this matter, Nen said coldly. Suchi shook his head. You can't. Once you do, there will be signs. The directors of my company are eyeing the management rights of the company covetously. If the news of the disease is spread, it will be bad for us. Does Guqiu have AIDS? Ji-Bei asked. Guqiu is not that kind of person, and he had a girlfriend before, Suchi said. He suspected that Nen would not suspect Guqiu. If Guqiu had AIDS, then his girlfriend might also have AIDS. Du Bing. Nen murmured and then said, I have something to do. I'll leave the things here to you. Where are you going? Suchi grabbed Nen. What are you going to do? We're in the same boat now. To be honest, I don't believe you. Nen shook off Suchi's hand. I don't think this matter is so simple. My intuition tells me that there is something wrong with Du Bing. I have to find out. It's not certain how the HIV virus came to us, Nen said coldly, wiping the cold sweat on his head. Du Bing has left this city. Do you think she did it? Suchi shook his head. I once sent someone to follow this woman. She doesn't have the ability to do such a thing, nor does she have the courage to do it. Suchi's tone was full of contempt. This kind of female college student didn't have the ability to do such a thing. You haven't met this woman, so you don't know her. I feel that she is not simple, Nen said coldly. Since she dares to plot against me, she should be prepared to go to the 18th level of hell. Nen took out his phone and said on the phone, check if Du Bing has gone back. Check if there is anything wrong with Du Bing. Nen didn't investigate Du Bing in person, but sent his subordinates. Because of the blood transfusion, Guqiu's body was a little infected. The doctor took anti-inflammatory drugs and said to Nen and the other 2, the patient's body is vulnerable to infection now. Suchi said, anyway, we have to cure Guqiu. By the way, give us some medicine. They also needed to take medicine in this situation. AIDS was a chronic disease. People could live for a long time with treatment. If they lived for 1 more year, there might be new drugs. After all, technology was improving, but it was a little painful for them. Suffering from this disease, more and more troubles piled up in front of them. They were in pain and despair. Because AIDS destroyed the immune cells, some ordinary viruses could make them sick. From the time they were diagnosed with AIDS until now, the three of them didn't believe it in their hearts. How could this kind of bad luck fall on their heads? Guccio was hospitalized for half a month before he was discharged. Guccio had never known that he had AIDS. The three of them didn't tell Guccio about it. Because the relationship between the four of them was exposed, Guccio was under a lot of psychological pressure. Guccio was just an ordinary man. He hadn't experienced any storms, so he couldn't compare with them in the business world. Without a strong mind, telling him this would only cause him to break down. The four of them were not in the mood to talk about it. And once they talked, it was easy to be infected with some bacteria. After all, it was the intestines. Chapter 11:16. There were a lot of bacteria in the intestines. If she was infected with any bacteria, her body would have no resistance and it would hurt her. After such a thing happened, no one was in the mood to play. Nan and the others took care of Guccio, but Guccio's health had always been poor. However, the internet was turbulent. Although Nan and Su Chi had destroyed the magazine and the other media did not dare to do anything, there were all kinds of rumors circulating on the internet. They made Guccio into all kinds of wretched emoticons and attacked her. The three men were so angry that their lungs hurt. Because of such a scandal, Su Chi and Nan had to go back to the company to face the doubts of the outside world. If someone spread such a rumor again, they would see it in court. Su Chi and Nan's attitude was very strong. However, the people on the internet did not care about them at all. The news of the 4P was spreading like wildfire. The main reason was that Ji-Bei was a big star. He was already popular and talked about. In addition, there were two bosses of the entertainment company and an ugly male assistant. There was endless room for imagination. Some people made the story of the four people into a story, but they did not use their real names. Guccio was the pure and pitiful white lotus swaying in the wind. Ji-Bei, who took care of Guccio, never dared to say those nasty words on the internet to Guccio. When Guccio woke up and saw Ji-Bei taking medicine, she asked in surprise, "What are you taking?" "It's cold medicine. I have a cold recently." Ji-Bei smiled at Guccio. However, Ji-Bei's smile now did not have that kind of high-spirited and arrogant feeling. It was more of a feeling of heaviness in his heart. "Are you feeling better?" Guccio asked with concern. "It's all my fault. I'm your assistant. Now I need you to take care of me. Just don't do anything stupid in the future." Ji-Bei looked at Guccio and said seriously, "Guccio, come with me. Go abroad with me and leave everything behind." Guccio was a little surprised. "Didn't Nan and Su Chi say that they will send me abroad when I get better? You can't listen to them. They have too many scruples. It's impossible for them to leave everything behind. Just the two of us. Let's leave this place and start over with someone who doesn't know us. Is that okay?" Guccio was like a Tom Sue. She could make people give up everything for her. Ji-Bei looked at Guccio with longing eyes. "Guccio, have you made your choice?" Ji-Bei really wanted to take Ji-Bei away from this place. He no longer had a career here. His fans all said on the internet that they had misjudged him and turned from fans to haters. There were also some people who didn't like him in the past who wantonly slandered him. Leaving this place was the best choice. But the two of them? Guccio hesitated. Ji-Bei's face was somewhat ferocious as he roared, "Don't worry about those two. I was the one who met you first. They took it by force. If it weren't for them, things wouldn't have turned out this bad." "Ji-Bei, what's wrong?" Guccio saw Ji-Bei's ferocious face and couldn't help but ask, "Did something happen?" "If it weren't for the two of them, we wouldn't be like this and we wouldn't have gotten AIDS," Ji-Bei roared. He immediately regretted it. "Guccio?" Ji-Bei saw that Guccio was stunned and quickly grabbed her arm. "What did you say?" "Please?" Guccio asked Ji-Bei in a daze. Ji-Bei's hand slid down Guccio's arm and clenched his fist tightly. "The four of us are infected with HIV. I think it was the two of them who infected us." As soon as Ji-Bei finished speaking, he was kicked from behind by someone who was caught off guard. He fell to the ground with a plop. Nan stepped on Ji-Bei's chest and kicked him with his leather shoe. Ji Bei gasped for breath in pain. We tried so hard to hide it from Guqiu. How dare you tell her about it? Do you want her to die? Xinan said fiercely. Ji Bei stood up with his hands on the floor. You can't hide the truth in paper. Guqiu will know about it sooner or later. Xinan grabbed Ji Bei's collar and said fiercely, What were you doing just now? Trying to persuade Guqiu to leave me and Su Qi? You're just a piece of trash. Ji Bei took a deep breath and punched Xinan in the face. Xinan touched the bleeding corner of his lips and said, Ji Bei, because of you, things have gotten out of hand. How dare you leave with Guqiu? I'll deal with you first. Enough! Guqiu shouted loudly. Ji Bei and Xinan both looked at Guqiu. Is it true that I'm infected with AIDS? Guqiu asked. Xinan pursed his lips tightly and didn't speak. Guqiu knew the truth as soon as she saw Xinan's expression. At this moment, Xinan had never felt that his life was so dark. He had been cursed and attacked by thousands of people, and now he was infected with AIDS. Xinan couldn't figure out why his life was so miserable. Guqiu. Seeing Guqiu's body trembling slightly, Xinan couldn't help shouting worriedly and walked towards Guqiu. Don't come over! Guqiu shouted, almost breaking down. His life had changed beyond recognition. Since he met these three men, his ordinary and stable life had been far away from him. He also broke up with his ex-girlfriend. Seeing Guqiu rejecting him so much, Xinan's eyes dimmed. After such a thing happened, no one would be in a good mood, especially when one was infected with AIDS and his life was threatened. Guqiu turned and ran upstairs, locking the door from the inside. Xinan turned his head and stared at Ji Bei gloomily. I've tolerated you for a long time. A man like you doesn't deserve to stay by Guqiu's side. Su Qi and I have tried our best to protect Guqiu. You're childish and incompetent. You'll only bring harm to Guqiu. Trash, Xinan said viciously. Ji Bei raised his chin. No matter what, I can't deny that I met Guqiu first and was with her first. Xinan reached out and grabbed Ji Bei's collar. If it weren't for this, if it weren't for Guqiu's feelings, do you think I would let you stay by Guqiu's side? Trish. Xinan pushed Ji Bei hard. Ji Bei hit the wall and snorted. Then he stared at Xinan and left. Guqiu stayed in the room for a day and a night without any movement, which made the three men very anxious. When Su Qi came over, he beat Ji Bei again. He felt that Ji Bei had become a punching bag now. The next day, Guqiu came out of the room. Her eyes were red and swollen, but she looked much calmer. Guqiu, how are you? Su Qi asked Guqiu. Guqiu looked at the three worried faces and took a deep breath. I want to eat something. Okay, Ji Bei said repeatedly, I'll go and prepare. Chapter 11:17. Seeing that Guqiu was willing to eat, the three immediately breathed a sigh of relief. After eating, Guqiu said to the three of them, I want to have plastic surgery. Hearing this, even Xinan was stunned. Why do you want to have plastic surgery? Do you care about those people saying you're ugly on the internet? In my heart, it has nothing to do with your appearance, but your soul, Su Qi said with a sullen face. And there's a high chance that the surgery will be infected. If something really happens, what do you want the three of us to do? Xinan stared at Guqiu. Guqiu thought for a while and said, on the one hand, because of those words on the internet, I also want to change my identity and start over. On the other hand, after plastic surgery, I want to stand with you with a new face. The three of them were particularly good-looking, so Guqiu standing next to them was not very harmonious. Things are already so bad. I just want to be willful for once in my life, Guqiu said. For you, I'll be fine. Ji Bei, Xinan and Su Qi looked at each other. Su Qi nodded and said, if this is what you want to do, we'll support you. After settling the plastic surgery matter, Xinan arranged to go abroad. The three of them left everything behind and accompanied Guqiu. Before boarding the plane, Xinan's phone rang. The other side reported to Xinan, Du Bing didn't go home. Her parents don't know where she went. Keep investigating. Find this person for me. Xinan hung up the phone and boarded the plane. Guqiu was busy changing her appearance. When Ning Shu got off work, he received a call from Du Bing's mother, who asked where Du Bing was. People from the company had come to find her. People from the company? Ning Shu asked hurriedly. Which company? The company you interned with. They said that you didn't go to work, so they came to find you at home, said Du Bing's mother. Ning Shu narrowed her eyes. Could it be that those people had found out about her? It was impossible. Even when she went to find a private detective, she was fully dressed, with a hat, mask, and sunglasses. Her face was basically covered. Moreover, the phone number given to him was also a black card. After getting the things, Ning Shu threw the card away. The chances of finding her were slim, and private investigators in the gray area wouldn't easily reveal their customers' information. Besides, Ning Shu didn't leave any information behind. Ning Shu was afraid that Sinan would put the blame on her and try to kill her for whatever reason. Did you tell them? Ning Shu's mother asked. Of course not. There are so many scammers nowadays. Where are you now? How's your job search going? Mrs. Du nagged Ning Shu. Very good. You're still doing your internship. Don't tell them that you don't know. There are a lot of scammers these days. Ning Shu reminded Mrs. Du. Ning Shu thought that he had not given himself away, so why did he come to investigate her? Ning Shu brought up the GPS. The function of the GPS was to locate the protagonist. Ning Shu found that these 4 people were thousands of miles away from her. What were they doing? Could it be that they had to live abroad because they were exposed? That was unlikely. Ning Shu had been paying attention to the 4 people's situation. It was almost 4 months before the 4 of them returned to China. What the hell was he doing? This task was quite bitter. She couldn't compare with them in terms of money and power. Moreover, the 3 of them crushed her. How sad. Ning Shu paid more attention to the news of these 4 people. The internet was talking about 3 men sharing a man. Some people were even imagining that they would stand in a row and play with each other. The 4 of them took a shower together and picked up soap. Ning Shu clicked her tongue. They had no bottom line. However, Ning Shu noticed a piece of entertainment news. It was that Chifeng Group and Hertz Company were going to work together to shoot a movie. They invested a lot of money to make a movie, and the director was a person she had never heard of. His name was Zhu Exin. Moreover, the cast was quite strong. They were all big shots. It was obvious that they were going to make an influential New Year's Eve movie. It was a 3D movie with exquisite special effects. It had already been widely publicized, and there was news everywhere. Even before filming began, it had already become a hot topic. Many people on the internet were curious about who this Zhu Exin was. He was like a person who had suddenly appeared. Moreover, he was very handsome. His eyebrows were exquisite. With his looks, he could be an actor, let alone a director. Moreover, according to Zhu Exin's information, Zhu Exin had just returned from studying abroad. It was his first time shooting a movie. The male lead of the movie was Ji Beiyi. When the reporters asked Zhu Exin why he wanted to use Ji Beiyi, who had a bad reputation, in the movie, Zhu Exin said that he didn't care about Ji Beiyi's reputation. Instead, he liked Ji Beiyi's acting skills. An actor with acting skills shouldn't be buried. Probably because he wasn't used to the spotlight, Zhu Exin's face was a little shy. Coupled with his good-looking face, he looked exceptionally pure. Soon, with the support of the 2 companies, the newcomer director Zhu Exin was pushed to the public. This was a director with both looks and talent. Ning Shu stared at the photo of this person called Zhu Exin. His face was very good. It was quite pleasing to the eye. However, why did Su Qi and Sinan still support Zhu Exin and let Ji Beiyi be the male lead? Sure enough, the rich could do whatever they wanted. Obviously, the reputation of these 4 people couldn't be more tarnished. However, it was easy to solve it with money. He still wanted to shoot a movie. Ning Shu turned on the GPS and saw that the 4 red dots were together. In other words, the 4 protagonists were together. This Zhu Exin couldn't be Gu Qiu, right? Gu Qiu had plastic surgery. She had plastic surgery and started over? Plastic surgery was really a solution. Why didn't Du Bing think of changing her appearance back then? It was also a good idea to change her appearance and make herself prettier at the same time. Ning Shu stared at the computer. The glowing light of the computer shone on Ning Shu's face. Ning Shu chuckled. Zhu Xian was Guqiu. He had become a new director who had returned from studying abroad. Just like in the plot, Guqiu would reach the peak of her life under the guidance of Si Nan and Su Qi. This was fucking possible. Soon, the opening ceremony of the movie was held. Zhu Xian was not the only director in this movie. There were several famous directors under him. However, Zhu Xian's title was the chief director. It seemed that several directors were supporting him. The publicity on the internet was overwhelming. They wanted to increase their influence and become famous overnight. Si Nan and Su Qi were really generous. They spent a lot of time, money, and effort on Guqiu. This was the difference. Guqiu could start over, while Du Bing would fall into the well. Ning Shu would not expose himself now. He would wait until the right time to do so. After the opening ceremony was held, the shooting began. Even during the shooting, all kinds of news were released and reported one after another. The advertising fee alone was a shocking figure. From time to time, there were all kinds of fancy advertisements on the set. Chapter 11-18. Filming a movie would be spectacular and popular. They just didn't know that the ordinary Guqiu would become a talent after changing his face. Guqiu was not a director, nor was he a talent. It was an accident that he could enter the entertainment industry and become Ji Bei's assistant. Ning Shu saw that the movie had already started shooting. He registered another number and began to post. Find out who the director, Zhu Xian's. Ning Shu wrote a long article and suddenly felt that his literary talent was not bad. It was not in vain that he had read so many books. Sure enough, he had a literary aura. Ning Shu introduced Zhu Xian's identity in plain words and explained in detail why Zhu Xian was so awesome, why the two companies supported him so much, and why there were so many famous directors protecting him. This person was Guqiu. Guqiu had disappeared for 4 months because he went abroad for plastic surgery. He had changed his face and become a talent director. The script was written by Guqiu. Su Qi and Si Nan must have hired someone to write it for them and put Guqiu's name on it. Zhu Xian had appeared out of nowhere. No one knew about his past. In addition, there were movies everywhere now. They were all about Zhu Xian. Their ears were getting calluses. As soon as Ning Shu's post came out, it attracted a lot of attention. Many people said that they couldn't believe it, but Ning Shu's post was the closest to the truth. However, not long after this post was posted, it was deleted. Ning Shu didn't care. It didn't matter if it was deleted. Anyway, many people were watching. It was the age of the internet. The whole world knew about the slightest movement. Although Ning Shu's post was deleted, someone took a screenshot and posted it on Weibo. It quickly attracted attention. The stars who participated in the shooting of this movie all looked at Zhu Xian with strange eyes. This Zhu Xian really didn't know how to shoot or how to explain to the actors. He was the chief director, but he was the most confused person on the scene. It was all thanks to the support of several big directors. Thinking of how a small assistant ordered them around before, these stars felt very unhappy. He even felt some disdain for Ji Bei. No wonder Ji Bei was appointed as the male lead. It turned out that it was Ji Bei. The relationship between Su Qi, Si Nan, and Zhu Xian couldn't be clearer. In order to expand their influence, Si Nan and Su Qi had invited all the big shots in the entertainment industry. So many big shots had acted with Ji Bei, and all of them had famous directors to pave the way for Zhu Xian. It's kind of gross. Moreover, Ji Bei and Zhu Xian had a lot of bad habits. They didn't shoot scenes that required them to stay up late. They had to sleep before midnight. He had disrupted the progress of others, but the person who had paid for it had agreed. These people didn't know that Guqiu and Ji Bei had AIDS. They were too tired and staying up late was bad for their health. However, in the eyes of others, such willful and fearless behavior meant that he had someone backing him up. It was Ji Bei's manager who told Ji Bei. Now, the news had spread like wildfire, saying that Zhu Xian was Guqiu. Ji Bei's expression changed when he saw the news. It hadn't been long, but Guqiu's background had already been dug out. Ji Bei didn't dare to tell Guqiu about this, but Guqiu looked at her phone. Because he was very popular recently, news about him was pushed out very quickly. When Guqiu saw the content of the post, she immediately covered her mouth and rushed to the toilet to vomit. She was already feeling unwell, so she was shocked when she saw the post. The post was so real that it was as if she had seen it with her own eyes. In such a short time, before the movie was even filmed, her identity had already been exposed. How could something like this happen? When Ji-bei saw Guqiu stumbling away, he hurriedly followed her, leaving the entire crew behind. Everyone was expressionless. They were already used to these willful people. After all, it wasn't their money that was being burned. When Ji-bei reached the toilet, he saw Guqiu curled up into a ball from vomiting. He walked over and patted Guqiu's back. "Are you okay?" Ji-bei asked with heartache. Guqiu's face was filled with tears from vomiting. She leaned against Ji-bei and cried sadly. "Why can't you let me go? I didn't do anything wrong. I've already decided to start over. Why are these people doing this?" Guqiu wailed. "Who did I get in the way? Why are they treating me like this? I was sick to begin with. After going through the pain of the surgery and surviving the infection, I finally started over. But now, I'm being attacked and mocked. Why is it so difficult?" Ji-bei hugged Guqiu. He didn't know how to comfort Guqiu. Living under the spotlight was like this. She had to bear the expenses of many people. Ji-bei brought up the old topic again. "Guqiu, leave with me. There's no place for us here. It's just the two of us. We'll live a happy life just like before." Guqiu cried silently. The scene of the two of them hugging each other had been secretly filmed by someone. It basically proved that Zhu Xen was Guqiu. After crying for a while, Guqiu felt better. She said to Ji-bei, "It's time to go out and film." "Are you okay?" Ji-bei asked with concern. Guqiu shook her head. "I can take it. No matter what, I have to finish filming this movie. I can't let Su-chi and Sinan down." The two of them returned to the set. Because Ji-bei wasn't in a good state, he kept making mistakes. In the end, Guqiu said that she would stop filming today. Everyone was helpless. Their schedule was very tight. Time was money. However, this movie was funded by two big shots. Many celebrities and actors were under these two companies. This kind of willful behavior made people even more unhappy. From the beginning, the crew was not harmonious. In the evening, the four of them gathered in the villa. Sinan shook his head and said regretfully, "We shouldn't have pushed Guqiu out so early." "I suspect that there is a spy among us," Su-chi said coldly. "Otherwise, how could he know so much? Look at me again. Am I that kind of person?" Seeing Su-chi staring at him, Sinan couldn't help but say, "I invested in this movie with real money. If I expose Guqiu's identity, this movie may die in the womb." Guqiu finally survived the plastic surgery. "I'd be crazy to expose this kind of thing. Why are you suspecting me?" Sinan became angrier as he spoke. Why did Su-chi suspect him every time something happened? Couldn't he express his feelings by doing what he did? Su-chi looked away. "I'm worried about you. I've seen how despicable and cunning you are. Why do I feel that the person who exposed this is the same person as before? He's very familiar with us." Ji-bei shuddered. If it really wasn't the four of them, who was it? It seemed that a pair of invisible eyes were staring at them. They couldn't go on like this. If they didn't, they would really fail. Chapter 11:19. The things between them were hidden very well, and the reporters did not suspect their relationship with Guqiu. Guqiu's appearance was so ordinary that no one would think that Ji-bei had an impure relationship with him. What's more, he was a big shot in the entertainment industry. Previously, there was not the slightest bit of commotion, and there were no signs at all. Suddenly, a person exploded. Then, the four of them were caught in the center of public opinion. It was the same this time. No one had ever doubted Guqiu's identity. Guqiu had changed his appearance. But it was still exposed by someone. The main reason was that Guqiu was completely different from the ordinary Guqiu after the plastic surgery. No one had put the two of them together. Ji-bei's eyes widened. He took a deep breath and said, Is this person going to drop something else? Su Qi and Si Nen both frowned. Si Nen said to Ji Bei, "You've been tired recently. Finish the movie as soon as possible. I'm worried that this movie may die in the womb." Ji Bei frowned and glanced at the exhausted Guqiu. He nodded and said firmly, "I see." In order to finish the movie as soon as possible, Ji Bei endured his fatigue. The shooting progress of the crew was much faster and they were in a hurry. And now it was a closed shooting, so the reporters were not allowed to shoot. These reporters came here just to interview Guqiu. And now they had to catch up with the schedule. The higher-ups had set a date. In the past, there were still videos to hype it up, but now there were none. Seeing this, Ning Shu thought that these people might have guessed that he was going to expose himself again. This was the last time that Ning Shu would expose himself. This time, Ning Shu registered a Weibo account and posted that the group of 4 was infected with AIDS. They were diagnosed with AIDS in XXX Hospital, and Ning Shu also made up an identity of a hospital staff. Si Nen had been monitoring Ning Shu's account. As long as he logged in and posted, he would be able to find out whether the person who posted this post was the one who posted it before. If they all used a virtual IP, it must be this person. He wanted to see what kind of monster this person was. But he didn't expect that the other party would go to Weibo again. When Si Nen saw this Weibo, his scalp went numb. In an instant, the world was turned upside down. He held on to the table to stabilize his body. This person really knew everything. Who was he? Who was he? Soon, the news that the 4 of them were infected with AIDS spread like wildfire. The crew was in an uproar, as if a drop of water had splashed into a pot of oil. Wah wah wah. An actress who had filmed a kissing scene with Ji Bei wailed and ran out of the set, crying. She ran to check if she had contracted AIDS. The 4 of them treated AIDS as a top secret and did not tell anyone. The crew did not know that Ji Bei and Guqiu had AIDS. Just do what you need to do, act as usual. The actress took the lead and ran away. Everyone else went on strike and ran to check if they were infected with AIDS. These actors ran away faster than rabbits. The female stars who usually paid attention to their manners were all flustered. These reporters felt that there was something interesting going on and surrounded them. In the end, they were pushed away and swarmed into the car. The reporters were not angry and hurriedly drove after them. Perhaps there would be headlines tomorrow. AIDS was not a terrible disease. With reasonable treatment, one could live a normal life. However, this disease was highly contagious. Once infected, there was no need to talk about life, future, or normal life. In an instant, the crew ran away, leaving only Ji Bei and Guqiu, who were exceptionally miserable. Guqiu clutched his chest, feeling as if thousands of arrows were piercing his heart. Guqiu bent over and vomited. Guqiu, your body. Among the 4 of them, Guqiu's body was the weakest. If he was not careful, he would be infected. He caught a cold easily. Guqiu even vomited bile. He cried and said to Ji Bei, "Let's leave here. I don't want to stay here anymore." Guqiu's heart was completely dead. Now that AIDS had been exposed, he really could not stay here anymore. Wherever he went, he would be treated like a monster. The pain he suffered from plastic surgery and the pain of infection during the surgery was even more painful than before because he could have a new start. Guqiu only wanted to hide in a place where there was no one. He did not want to see anyone. "Okay, let's leave here. Leave here." Ji Bei supported Guqiu. "Leave here. We must leave here." Guqiu said anxiously. He could not hold on any longer. Si Nen and Su Qi rushed over. When they heard Guqiu's words, they were silent. "Who on earth is that person? Who is it?" Ji Bei roared at Si Nen and Su Qi. It was obvious that the person was targeting them. Si Nan's body was a little shaky. "I suspect it's Du Bing." Du Bing. The 3 of them looked at Guqiu. Guqiu looked absent-minded and did not care about what they said at all. There were too many things on Guqiu's shoulders. It seemed that the most tragic thing in the world happened to Guqiu. Du Bing and Guqiu have already broken up. She has no reason to take revenge on us. She doesn't know our relationship with Guqiu. Su Qi said, "I don't know why you keep suspecting this woman." Si Nen said coldly, "What if she knows? What if she knows our relationship with Guqiu?" I teased her before. A woman's jealousy and vengeance are very terrible. And the people I sent out to investigate found that Du Bing didn't come home at all. Her parents don't know where she is. Maybe she is lurking around us, Si Nan said gloomily. Ji Bei frowned. How could she be lurking without us noticing? It's impossible. I suspect that it's the revenge of the entertainment magazine that went bankrupt before, Su Chi said. How could a woman get so much information? Even the entertainment reporters did not know. How could she know? Su Chi had only met Ning Shu once, and he did not take Ning Shu seriously at all. Moreover, Su Chi only had Du Bing in his mind. He did not remember what this person looked like at all. He remembered this name because Du Bing was Guqiu's ex-girlfriend. Forget it. No matter who it is now, we have to send Guqiu to the hospital. Guqiu is vomiting badly, Ji Bei said worriedly. Seeing Guqiu's face as pale as paper and in a trance, the three of them were very worried. They hurried to send Guqiu to the hospital. Meanwhile, the internet was in an uproar. There were so many evil things this year. It was really one wave after another. It was too much to deal with. 3 men shared a man. Not only was he ugly, but he also had plastic surgery and acted in movies. Now he had AIDS. Chapter 11:20. Guqiu and Ji Bei had AIDS. The crew members, including the director, the actors, and the extras, didn't want to make this movie. What if they got AIDS? They would rather not have the money. The movie was going well, but now these people would rather pay the liquidated damages than make a movie. Besides, in the current state, they didn't know what the movie would be like. As a result, this expensive and spectacular movie was aborted just like that. There were no directors or actors. No matter how much money Su Chi and Si Nan had, they couldn't stop the instinct of being afraid of death. Su Chi and Si Nan lost their temper. They were especially dissatisfied with their artists and were very angry. These big stars didn't want to stay in the company. The boss had AIDS. What if he infected them? It happened that other companies poached people, and the liquidated damages were paid by the poaching companies. Some big stars had their own studios, so they weren't afraid at all. Many employees in the company resigned. There were jobs everywhere, but if they got AIDS, they would lose everything. Si Nan and Su Chi's company suffered a great loss. That was why they had to keep the AIDS matter a secret. The consequences were very serious. So a large number of people lined up to go to the hospital for AIDS. Almost the whole entertainment circle was restless. There were male and female stars, assistants and agents. The rich circle was very messy, and all kinds of relationships were very complicated. For example, a female star once had a relationship with Su Chi. This female star might have a relationship with the director, and the director might have a relationship with many female stars. The female stars who had a relationship with the director might have a relationship with other directors or other male stars. There were countless problems on a vine. To be safe, some people who had only been in contact with them went to the hospital for a test. The hospital made a lot of money. Ning Shu paid attention to these things while submitting her resume to the big companies in the capital, waiting for a reply. Ning Shu planned to resign soon and leave here to work in the big city. She felt that the mountain on her back had gradually moved away, and the dark clouds above her head were gradually dispersing. Now the 4 of them couldn't even take care of themselves. There was a large-scale wave of resignations in the company. Even if they had money, they might not be willing to work for you. They also stopped making movies. The early investment was all for naught. The money was not a small amount. If the movie was not made, they couldn't get a cent back. However, when Ning Shu went to work, the police found her. She was accompanied by a man wearing a cap and a mask. The police called Ning Shu out of the supermarket. Ning Shu asked, "Have you been here recently?" "Yes, I work here." "Officer, I didn't do anything wrong." "Why are you questioning me like a criminal?" Ning Shu said as he stared at the man in the mask and hat. Si Nan took off his mask, and Ning Shu immediately took a step back. "You don't need to do that. You have AIDS." Si Nan's face was a little pale, and his eyes were full of suspicion. "So, you know I have AIDS?" "Of course I know. It's all over the internet. How could I not know? Ning Shu stepped back and stared at Nan. This guy was really capable. He even sent the police. Did the thing between Guqiu and me leak out? Nan stared at Ning Shu without blinking. Ning Shu's face showed a look of contempt. I was wondering why my boyfriend broke up with me. You are the one behind it. But it's clear that you are sick. You want to have sex and seek excitement. Now it's time for excitement. Du Bing, did you release the photos of Nan and cause him inconvenience? Ning Shu asked. Ning Shu said lightly, Officer, I am also a citizen. I can also enjoy the rights of a citizen. You have no evidence, but you insist that I exposed something inexplicable. Now, can I sue this person? Ning Shu pointed at Nan. This person is guilty of slander. The law should be fair. Du Bing, you are very talkative. Nan stared at Ning Shu coldly. Are you lurking around Guqiu? What lurking? Why should I be so tired for a man who has nothing and cheated on me? I am embarrassed to say that Guqiu used to be my boyfriend. I am really afraid that someone will expose that I am Guqiu's girlfriend. Then why did you escape here? Nan, I'm not your prisoner. I have no obligation to answer your questions. You called the police here to convict me, but you don't have any evidence. Even if you want to arrest me, you have to show the rules, Ning Shu said lightly. I broke up with Guqiu because of your scheme. Now I want to change a place and start over. Can't I? As for what you said about lurking around you, that's even more of a joke. I work here, and it's a shift system. It takes nearly 3 hours to go back and forth from here to T-City by train, but I've been working here recently. You can ask the manager, there's a record of me clocking in every day. Ning Shu stared at Nan and said, My boyfriend has been taken away by you, so now you're going to put the blame on me. Nan stared at Ning Shu with red eyes. The police went to question the staff of the supermarket. She had interviewed many employees, and it was just as Ning Shu had said. She did have an alibi. Can we take a look at your computer? The police officer asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu asked, What crime did I commit? Mr. Nan reported that someone violated his privacy. The first suspect he provided was you, so you must be investigated, the police said. Ning Shu laughed and said, Come with me. Ning Shu took them to his rented house and pointed to the laptop on the desk. Look at it. A policeman from the identification department turned on the computer with gloves and browsed through it. He shook his head and said, There is nothing unusual. Some web pages are cached. Ning Shu shrugged. I am just an ordinary person. If I have so much information, why don't I make some money? Why would I put it on the internet? Comrade, your idea is very dangerous, Ning Shu said. His idea is even more dangerous, Ning Shu pointed at Nan and said, I didn't do anything. Why do you have to put the blame on me? Officer, I also want to report the case now. If I went missing or my body was found that day, the first suspect would be Nan, Ning Shu said. Nan walked over to Ning Shu. Ning Shu quickly stepped back and said, Don't come near me. Nan was so angry at Ning Shu that his face turned pale. Du Bing, I really underestimated you. Chapter 1121. Not again. You're paranoid, Ning Shu said disdainfully. If you can't prove that I'm guilty, please leave. This was the problem of resources. Nan could report the case, but he could make her a suspect without any evidence. Ordinary people didn't have so many privileges. The police had to leave. After all, Ning Shu didn't commit the crime. They were 2 different places away from each other, so there was no stalking, as Nan said. Nan glanced at Ning Shu with hatred and turned to leave. As soon as the group of people left, Ning Shu sprayed the disinfectant spray all over the room. It was hard to guarantee that Nan didn't leave any saliva or something. What if Nan's virus mutated and his saliva could also infect people? At the same time, Ning Shu packed up his things and bought a bus ticket to go to the interview. He didn't want to play with them anymore. Anyway, these 4 people wouldn't live well for the rest of their lives. With AIDS, life would be like falling into darkness. There were too many inconveniences. People would look at them strangely wherever they went. Moreover, These 4 people were all public figures. They would be recognized wherever they went. In this case, their careers were almost over. Su Qi and Si Nen couldn't be the leaders of a company anymore. Ji Bei's career was completely ruined. With AIDS, no one was willing to invite him to act, and no one was willing to contact him. Endorsements and advertisements were all over the world, but now they were all history. Ning Shu dragged his luggage to the capital. Damn, the rent was so expensive. Ning Shu could only rent a basement for now. Then he went to the company for an interview. Ning Shu had been abroad for a mission, so he could speak a foreign language fluently. He passed the interview and started his internship. This company was one of the top 500 companies in China. It was quite good to be able to enter such a company. However, the internship was very busy. Before he became an official employee, he was always nervous. 3 months later, Ning Shu finally became an official employee. Life was like a slow struggle, one step at a time. Other than work, Ning Shu also paid attention to the entertainment industry. Because of Su Qi, the Su family's management rights were revoked by the board of directors. The Su family did not have any rights in the company, but with shares and dividends, they could still survive. Si Nan was also forced to resign from the position of president. He found someone else to run the company and became the big boss behind the scenes. However, the 2 of them were used to calling the wind and calling the rain. Not having power in their hands was also a kind of torture. However, there was very little gossip about Gu Qiu on the internet, and no one knew how he was doing. However, with Ning Shu's understanding of Gu Qiu, he was afraid that Gu Qiu was hiding somewhere, not daring to come out. This man was just an ordinary man. He was really ordinary, so ordinary that he couldn't be more ordinary. Sometimes, kindness was synonymous with cowardice. She had the selfishness of an ordinary person. In the plot, she made use of Du Bing. If she was really kind, she should have stopped her man. But she didn't stop them. Moreover, in the plot, the 4 of them didn't have a public opinion crisis yet. It was just these 3 men who deliberately made things difficult for Du Bing. Ning Shu had exposed their relationship and dragged out Su Shishuang to block the arrow. In this country, many people knew them. They were waiting to be isolated from the world. Otherwise, wherever they went, people would look at them as if they were monsters. Unless they went abroad and went to a place where no one knew them, they had to be careful and afraid that people would find out that they had AIDS. These 4 people were gradually fading out of the public sight. After all, it was not a glorious thing, and it would affect the company. As time went by, people would gradually forget this matter. But so what if they had forgotten? The 4 of them were suffering from this disease, so they would slowly suffer. Ning Shu called up the GPS and found that these 4 people had gone abroad. In this situation, they still wanted to know each other and stay with each other. It was really touching. What a touching love, undying love. However, if they didn't hug each other for warmth, others wouldn't play with them. If they didn't, these 4 people wouldn't have sex. After losing so much, they probably wouldn't be satisfied in their hearts. There would definitely be times when they would resent each other. Even if they resented each other, they still had to be together. No matter how beautiful love was, it couldn't beat the cruelty of time. No matter how beautiful love was, it couldn't beat the rush of emotions. Ning Shu, my heart is so tired. Why couldn't she see beautiful love and let her believe in love? Well, true love was like seeing a ghost. Ning Shu had seen ghosts, but he had never seen true love. Love was too intolerant. It wanted to have the other party completely, but it couldn't tolerate any betrayal. Once there was a problem, the world would be full of men and women. Since they were no longer in the country, Ning Shu couldn't be bothered to pay attention to them. He worked hard and sent some of his salary back home. Ning Shu also moved from the basement to a 1-bedroom apartment, but the rent was really expensive. When it came to work, Ning Shu was quite handy. When he was doing missions, he even managed the company. Now, he was just doing the work of one person, so it was very easy. Mission completed. Do you want to leave the mission world? 2333's voice sounded in Ning Shu's mind. Ning Shu nodded, let's go. Ning Shu felt dizzy and returned to the system space. Seeing the empty space and the black hole in the wall, Ning Shu didn't feel too good. Now that he couldn't open the system shop, he couldn't even exchange for a table or a chair. Ning Shu first sat on the ground to absorb the pure soul energy. When his soul was full, Ning Shu opened the status panel and looked at his harvest. Number 2333. Name Ning Shu, Advanced Mission Taker. Age 27 points. 27 155 000 000/4 000 000 soul 330 life 111 wisdom 334 charm 20 luck 189 spirit 220 faith 16515 martial strength 342 qualifications 119 merit 13460 skills. Fifth ring shooting technique, trash fighting technique, beginner peerless martial arts, beginner poison technique, beginner business management knowledge, beginner code programming, beginner lawyer skills, master ghost catching skills. Honorary titles: goddess of war, selfless. Ancestor items: calm aura, faith aura, amulet 4, upgraded amulet 2 aura, mother of the world, queen's blessing, model worker, Qinshi's blessing, leader aura, grass blessing, lifelong friend, Miao Miao Miao's blessing, life-saving hand, Zhu Sunyang's blessing, founding female general, Chen Ermiai's blessing, lawful beauty, Chen Ning's blessing, fulfill Du Bing's wish, don't be slandered, let these people have a taste of being despised by thousands. Mission reward: 6 million points, 50 attribute points, 2,000 faith. Ning Shu saw the rewards and was quite satisfied. Chapter 1122. Her faith was increasing more and more, and she was getting closer and closer to becoming a super mission giver. Her faith was probably the first to reach the standard, but 100 million points was a bit of a scam. The points had to reach the standard. Ning Shu distributed the 60 attribute points. Number 2333. Name Ning Shu, high-level mission giver. Age 27 points. 2 715 000 000 0/4 000 000 soul 330 HP 111 wisdom 33410 charm 2010 luck 18910 MP 22010 faith 16515 martial strength 34210 aptitude 11910 merit 13460 skills. Fifth ring shooting technique, trash fighting technique, beginner martial arts, beginner poison, beginner business management, beginner code programming, beginner lawyer, beginner ghost catching skill. Honorary titles: goddess of war, selfless. Ancestor items: calm aura, faith aura, amulet 4, upgraded amulet 2 aura, mother of the world, queen's blessing, model worker, Qinshi's blessing, leader aura, grass blessing, best friend, Miao Miao Miao's blessing, lifesaver, Zhu Sunyang's blessing, founding lady, Chen Ermiai's blessing, lady justice, Chen Ning's blessing. After doing these things, Ning Shu found that he had nothing else to do, so he said to 2333, "Let's see how Du Bing is doing after she returned. The transmission function hasn't been fixed yet, so I can't see it." 2333 said. Ning Shu's heart was as calm as still water. 2333 said, "I can tell you that Du Bing achieved success in her career, became the company's director, and found a man who loves her." "That's it?" Ning Shu was expressionless. "Oh, it's not just that. Si Nan and the others were probably so angry that they paid the company to dismiss Du Bing. Du Bing was so angry that she went abroad to work. They can't help her everywhere. It's better for her to go abroad. If the company wasn't good, you could either endure, be ruthless, or leave." Ning Shu nodded. No one's life was smooth sailing. The strength of a person was the ability to deal with unbearable people and things, and ultimately, defeat the weak and cowardly self. Ning Shu wanted to explore the virtual space, but the channel to the virtual space was broken. There was nothing good in her system space. It was better to go and complete the quest. Ning Shuchao said to 2333, "Enter the quest. Remember to repair the space." Ning Shu said, "Didn't these two beads fight and create a black hole? With so much energy overflowing, you can't absorb it." "I'm trying to absorb it. I'm doing your mission." Ning Shu was thrown out of the system space, feeling dizzy. Was he crazy? What did she say wrong? Ning Shu's soul fused with his soul. He sat up and shook his head, feeling a little dizzy. This was a stone room, but the stone room was very luxurious. There was a red silk curtain, a dressing table, a wardrobe, and a delicate incense burner. Faint white smoke floated out, causing the stone room to emit a faint and elegant smell. Ning Shu rubbed his head, feeling a little dizzy, and began to accept the plot. This story revolved around a secret martial arts manual. This was a martial arts world. When martial arts developed to the extreme, it would develop into cultivation. And there was a secret manual called Gui Yuan Divine Art that could make the cultivator immortal and achieve immortality. The purpose of cultivation was to make oneself stronger, to let oneself live longer, to compete with the heavens. So this Gui Yuan Divine Art became something that both the righteous and the righteous wanted to fight for. If one cultivated this secret manual, not only would they have great power, but they could also become immortal. It was too crazy. The original owner was called Hong Yi, the sister of the holy devil cult's leader, Yi Hua. In the words of those righteous people, Hong Hua was a witch. This was the story of a righteous youth who infiltrated the holy devil cult. His goal was naturally to obtain the Gui Yuan Divine Art. If this heaven-defying secret manual fell into the hands of the holy devil cult, it would be a disaster. The righteous people sent a youth to infiltrate the holy devil cult and gave him the identity of an orphan. His entire family was killed, and it was Hong Ye's father, the previous leader, who brought him back to the holy devil cult. Hong Ye and Chi Yi could be considered childhood sweethearts. As Chi Yi grew older, he became more handsome and dashing. In the holy devil cult, he had the title of Jade-Face Young Gentleman. The more beautiful something was, the more poisonous it was. Hong Yi was a young girl in love, so she was naturally attracted by this jade-face young gentleman. Chi Yi pretended to be polite to Hong Yi, wanting to know the whereabouts of the Gui Yuan Divine Art. Chi Yi told Hong Hua that if she could obtain the Gui Yuan Divine Art and cultivate it, she would be able to be with the person she wanted to be with for a long time. Hong Yi thought that the person Chi Yi was talking about was her. Therefore, she was very eager to help Chi Yi find the secret manual. In addition, the leader was her brother, so his position was quite high and he had special privileges. She tried her best to help him find the secret manual. When her brother found out, he punished the traitor with 18 kinds of torture. Hong Yi even stuffed things into Chi Yi's arms, helping him to buy time for him to escape. Yi Hua was so angry that he wanted to cripple his sister. He raised his hand, thinking that she was his only family member. However, Hong Yi was still locked in the room by her brother, not allowing her to step out of the room. Mei Wu, who had protected Hong Yi since she was young, pleaded with the leader every day, asking him to release Hong Yi and guarantee that she would not make any more mistakes. Yi Hua was now busy looking for Chi Yi, so he had no time to care about his sister. He did not kill such a person who sided with an outsider only because of his dead father. Mei Wu brought new things to Hong Yi every day, hoping that she would be happy. Hong Yi did not care about Mei Wu's thoughts at all. She looked forward to Chi Yi coming back to save her every day. Chi Yi came back, but he brought a group of righteous sects to exterminate the entire holy devil cult. So many cult members fell in front of her one by one. Chi Yi stood in the middle of them, shining brightly and incomparably tall. In the end, her brother ate a forbidden medicine and erupted with his greatest strength. Then all the meridians in his body were broken. All the disciples of the holy devil cult were in despair. They wanted to protect their cult master and leave, ignoring Hong Ye. The holy devil cult excluded Hong Yi. In the eyes of the righteous sects, Hong Yi was a demoness. Chi used his sword to kill Hong Yi. Mei Wu took the sword for Hong Yi and was mercilessly pierced through by Chi. Mei Wu vomited blood and asked Hong Yi to leave quickly. Hong Yi was scared out of her wits by the sudden incident. She stared blankly at Chi walking towards her like a demon god. The sword in his hand was covered in blood, dripping on the ground along the blade. Chapter 11:23. The pain of being deceived and exterminated made Hongye fight back, but Qi was stronger than she thought. In the end, Qi pierced her heart. Before she died, Hongye grabbed Qi's clothes tightly. She spat out blood and asked, "Why did you lie to me?" Qi looked down at Hongye and said contemptuously, "You're just a demon girl." Qi cut off Hongye's hand that was grabbing his clothes. The Holy Devil sect was completely finished. Hongye spat out blood and died. Hongye's wish was to not be deceived by Qi, kill Qi and take revenge on those righteous sects that came to exterminate the sect. Revive the Holy Devil sect. After Ning Shu accepted the plot, he couldn't help but twitch his mouth. He hated this kind of thing the most. People usually hated those who lied to them. But the reason why a lie could succeed was because someone was willing to indulge in it. Lies were like arsenic wrapped in sugar-coated sugar. If one's position wasn't firm, they would betray their own beliefs and the Holy Devil sect that could protect them. She was a member of the Holy Devil sect. This label couldn't be washed away in this lifetime. People had to stick to their own position and principles. Otherwise, they wouldn't please either side. For the sake of love, she used almost lowly actions to please her lover, hoping to get the charity of love. Was this mission to exterminate all the righteous sects? The winner was the king. Ning Shu had a headache. Forget it, he would take one step at a time. Ning Shu liked revenge that didn't involve blood. He felt that he was cute. When Hongye died, she wasn't even 16 years old. She was still an innocent girl. Innocent. For this mission, Hongye will give up all her souls. 2333's voice sounded in Ning Shu's mind. Ning Shu was stunned. All of them. Hongye didn't give up her soul for herself, but for the Holy Devil sect, for her brother whose meridians were all broken, and for Mei Wu who died for her. She was repenting. A maid walked in. Ning Shu said, "Miss, Qi is waiting for you outside." Ning Shu nodded and put on her fiery red clothes. There was a string of delicate bells hanging from her waist. As she walked, the bells let out a crisp sound. Ning Shu looked in the mirror. Liking this dress made her look like a witch from the demonic sect. So this time, she was a demon who killed people as she pleased? Speaking of which, the original host really didn't kill anyone. She was raised like a lady from a respectable family. Yi Hua treated this little sister pretty well. Ning Shu took a rope that was as thin as a steel wire and put it on his body. He walked out of the stone room and saw Mei Wu standing in front of the door. Ning Shu stared at Mei Wu. He was about 17 or 18 years old. He looked dull and ordinary. However, she had always been by Hongye's side to protect her since she was young. She put Hongye first in everything and thought for Hongye in everything. She was truly an exceptionally loyal dog. If you kill someone, I'll help you bury the corpse. No matter how kind or vicious you are, I'll stay by your side. But Hongye couldn't see it. "Miss," Mei Wu called out to Ning Shu. "Do you want me to follow you?" Usually, when Hongye wanted to meet Qi, she would not let Mei Wu follow her. However, Ning Shu had a plan this time, so he said to Qi, "Come with me." Mei Wu was a little surprised, but he followed behind Ning Shu obediently. The Holy Demon Cult's base camp was on a mountain peak. They dug through the entire mountain peak and built all kinds of rooms inside. The terrain inside was extremely complicated. It was winding and difficult to attack. Therefore, the Holy Demon Cult was basically very safe. The righteous sects mocked the Holy Demon Cult for being like rats that only knew how to dig holes. The Holy Demon Cult didn't care. Ning Shu turned left and right and arrived in front of a lotus pond. It was summer now. The lotus flowers swayed and water flowed out of bamboo tubes into the pond. Ning Shu saw the lotus flowers and immediately said to 2333 in his heart, "See if there's any world origin." 2333. A man in brocade clothes stood beside the lotus pond. He was tall and slender. His back was facing Ning Shu as he looked at the lotus flowers in the pond. Ning Shu walked over and saw carps in the pond. Qi turned around. Ning Shu smiled. "You're here." Qi had sword-like eyebrows and bright eyes. His back was straight, and he gave people a sense of security. He felt that this person's temperament was actually different from that of Gidge from the demon cult. He always had a faint sense of righteousness. Perhaps this was the reason why Hong Yi was attracted to him. This person was so different. He was so different from those flirtatious bitches from the demon cult. Why did you call me here? Ning Shu asked. Qi Yi stared at Ning Shu with a burning gaze. Ning Shu's expression didn't change as he looked at Qi Yi's eyes. Let's see who will be cross-eyed first. Hong Yi, have you heard of a book? Qi Yi asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu shook his head. No. Qi Yi, rumor has it that there's a secret manual that allows one to communicate with heaven and earth and understand yin and yang. It's called the Holy Guiyuan technique. Ning Shu didn't reply, so Qi Yi could only continue talking. When Qi Yi mentioned the Holy Guiyuan technique, Mei Wu, who was standing nearby, frowned and glanced at Qi Yi. He glanced at Ning Shu and lowered his head. That's awesome. It sounds unrealistic. Don't listen to such unfounded rumors. They're only used to trick children. How can you believe them? Ning Shu rolled his eyes and disagreed. Qi Yi, if you really find the secret manual and master the divine technique, you can be with the person you want to be with forever. Qi Yi stared at Ning Shu with a burning gaze. Qi Yi's gaze was so bright that it could make people feel hot all over. Ning Shu, this must be adultery. Master the divine technique? If you master the divine technique, you can become an immortal. You can be with the person you love and live a carefree life, Qi Yi said with a yearning expression. He looked at Ning Shu with a hazy gaze. Dao was both emotional and emotionless. Ning Shu, divine technique. The day I master the divine technique will be the day I conquer the world of love. Not only do I want to kiss in the day, but I also want to have sex at night. Qi Yi must be talking about this kind of divine technique. He just needed to take a tonic pill. You're the sect master's sister. Can you help me find the secret manual? If you find it, we can cultivate together, Qi Yi said. The original owner of this body was probably too naive. She couldn't even tell that there was something wrong with these words. Kindness that had seen evil was also kindness. Naivety. Ning Shu curled his lips and nodded readily. He said with a smile, okay, but we have to play a little game first. I want to see how my martial arts have been recently. Spar with me, but you have to give me some leeway. Ning Shu sparred with Qi. Give me some leeway. Can you pretend that you're caught by me? Qi Yi looked helpless. He didn't even have time to attack before Ning Shu grabbed his wrist. Ning Shu quickly took out a rope to help Qi Yi. Qi Yi was a little surprised. He struggled. What are you doing? We're playing a game. I'll ask and you'll answer. I like you. Do you like me? Ning Shu asked. Qi Yi frowned. Let me go first. You don't like it. Ning Shu slapped Qi Yi's face with a loud slap. Chapter 11:24. After being slapped by Ning Shu, Qi didn't come back to his senses for a long time. He even forgot to struggle. Not only was Qi Yi dumbfounded, even Mei Wu looked as though he had seen a ghost. Qi Yi said furiously. Ning Shu interrupted him. Do you like me? So hesitant. It seems like you don't like me. Ning Shu slapped the other side of Qi Yi's face. I like you so much, but you don't like me. Ning Shu slapped both sides. Qi Yi's face was flushed red and swollen. I'll give you one last chance. Do you like me? I like you. Qi immediately shouted. So perfunctory. You said it without thinking. You are just perfunctory. Ning Shu slapped. Ning Shu kicked Qi Yi's stomach and drew out the sword on Mei Wu's waist. While Qi Yi wasn't paying attention, he ruthlessly slashed Qi Yi's neck. A thin red line appeared on Qi Yi's neck. Qi Yi was shocked and confused. Blood spurted out from the place where the sword slashed. Qi Yi vomited mouthfuls of blood. Qi Yi knelt down and seemed to want to say something. He vomited mouthfuls of blood and fell to the ground. His eyes were wide open as he died with grievances. Ning Shu approached Qi Yi with the sword and kicked him. Qi Yi didn't move. Ning Shu stood guard at the side and touched Qi Yi's chest to see if it was still beating. He had to make a prompt decision to kill Qi Yi. Otherwise, he wouldn't have another chance in the future. Qi had lived in the Saint Devil cult for so many years and understood the situation in the Saint Devil Peak very well. Previously, he was able to lead the righteous sects to slaughter the Saint Devil cult because he understood the situation in the Saint Devil cult. Qi was so obedient just now because he wanted to coax her to help him find something. If he didn't kill her, who would he kill? One of the missions could be considered completed, which was to kill Qi. After all, Hong Yi had sacrificed all of her soul force. She was quick to cut the Gordian knot. After guarding the corpse for a while, Ning Shu checked for any signs of life. There was no sign of life. Ning Shu stabbed Qi Yi's heart again with great force, penetrating his body. After all, Qi Yi was the main character and would become the leader of the righteous faction in the future. It was hard to guarantee that he would not die even after being killed several times. After being stabbed by Ning Shu, Qi Yi did not react at all. Moreover, his body gradually lost its temperature. Ning Shu stood up. It was good that he was dead. Ning Shu wanted to instruct Mei Wu to dispose of the corpse, but he saw a pair of crooked hands reaching for his neck. Ning Shu tilted his head back and avoided Mei Wu's hand. He took 2 steps back and looked at Mei Wu. "Are you crazy?" Mei Wu pursed his lips tightly and did not say a word. Ning Shu attacked. Ning Shu blocked with his sword and shouted at Mei Wu, "What's wrong with you?" Ning Shu had just arrived in this world and had not had the time to cultivate. He was relying on the body's reaction. "Mei Wu, I asked you to stop," Ning Shu shouted at Mei Wu in a low voice. "You're turning the world upside down." Mei Wu stared at Ning Shu's face and stopped attacking. Ning Shu asked while panting, "What's going on?" "You're not Mississippi. Or you? Why are you pretending to be Miss?" Mei Wu looked at Ning Shu with an unusually serious expression and asked stubbornly, "What's your motive for pretending to be Miss?" Ning Shu did not speak for a long time. He knew that killing Qi Yi might expose him, but it was the best time to kill Qi Yi just now. He called Mei Wu to prevent Qi Yi from escaping. After all, Qi Yi was the person Hong Yi liked. It was indeed strange for her to kill him. "I'm your miss," Ning Shu lied with a red mouth. Mei Wu was furious. "My miss would not torture someone like this." "Ning Shu, I've become fond of torturing people. Can't I?" Ning Shu calmed his breathing and the inner qi in his dantian spread throughout his body. Mei Wu did not know what to say. He pointed at Qi Yi on the ground. "This is Mrs.'s favorite person. Why did you kill him?" "As you can see, he doesn't like me. Why can't I kill him?" Ning Shu said righteously. I. Mei Wu did not know what to say. "Anyway, you're not Mississippi. I'm going to tell Cult Master." Ning Shu grabbed Mei Wu. Mei Wu said firmly, "Hold me. I'm going to tell Cult Master too." "Can't you tell that this person is a spy? He wants to trick me into finding the secret manual for him. The pugilistic world is spreading the news that the Guiyuan sacred art is in our holy devil cult." Ning Shu wiped his tears. "I can sacrifice the person I like for the holy devil cult." Mei Wu stared at Ning Shu expressionlessly. "Did you disguise yourself as Miss for the sake of the Guiyuan sacred art?" "I'm going to tell Cult Master." Damn it. He was Yi Hua's loyal dog. How was he Hong Ye's loyal dog? Damn it. Look at my face. Where can you find such a beautiful face in the world? Ning Shu pointed at his face. "You can disguise yourself." Mei Wu said, "Hurry up and hand over my Mississippi, otherwise, prepare to die in the holy devil cult." Ning Shu, "My heart is so tired. I'm really your miss," Ning Shu said weakly. "What proof do you have?" Mei Wu stared at Ning Shu, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Under his watch, his miss had actually been switched. Ning Shu retorted, "What proof do you have that I'm not your miss?" "You're not my Mississippi. I trust my intuition." Mei Wu was about to use his qinggong to fly away when Ning Shu grabbed onto Mei Wu tightly. His stubborn temper really made people anxious. "I can prove that I'm your Mississippi, look." Ning Shu rolled up his sleeves. "Chastity sand." "Mei Wu, you're not my Mississippi. You're not my Mississippi. No matter what you say, you're not my miss," Mei Wu said stubbornly. "Ning Shu, how am I not your miss?" "I've never left your sight. How can I be switched? Ning Shu said. Miss has never discussed such matters with me. She has never tried to convince me, Mei Wu said lightly. Ning Shu, you don't believe me, right? I'm explaining it to you. Fine. I'm not your Mississippi. Ning Shu didn't want to argue with Mei Wu anymore. Mei Wu's face darkened and he reached out to attack Ning Shu. Ning Shu didn't dodge and Mei Wu grabbed his neck. Ning Shu was fearless. Come on. Break my neck. If I die, your miss won't be able to come back. With Mei Wu's intelligence, it was very difficult for him to understand this. But Mei Wu still grabbed Ning Shu's neck tightly. Tell me, what did you do to my miss? Ning Shu said with a red face, you want to strangle your miss to death. Hurry up and let go. Otherwise, I won't tell you. Mei Wu released him a little suspiciously. Ning Shu took a deep breath. Chapter 11:25. Some people judged people with their eyes, while others judged people with their hearts. The eyes could deceive people, but the heart couldn't. There were many people smarter than Mei Wu, but Mei Wu saw through Ning Shu. Tell me, where did Miss go? Mei Wu asked Ning Shu viciously. This body belongs to your Mississippi. After I leave, she'll naturally come back, Ning Shu said indifferently. Then why can't you leave now? I have something to do. What is it? Do what your miss wants to do? Miss wants to kill Qi? Nonsense. Ning Shu said impatiently, it's up to you whether you believe me or not. What I'm doing is what your mistress wants to do. You have to protect this body well. If I die, your mistress won't be able to come back. I don't believe it. I'm going to tell Cult Master. He'll save Mississippi. Mei Wu released his grip on Ning Shu's neck and turned to leave. Do you have the ability to take one step? Ning Shu stared at Mei Wu expressionlessly. It was really troublesome to meet such a person. You can't save Hongye at all. After I leave, Hongye will naturally come back. Ning Shu threw the sword in his hand and turned to leave. If you tell me, I'll kill myself. Your miss won't be able to come back anymore. Mei Wu was speechless. You really aren't Mississippi. Miss isn't as shameless as you. Mei Wu said, I can keep it from Cult Master, but if Miss doesn't come back, I'll kill you. When will Miss come back? Mei Wu asked, resigned to his fate. 3 to 5 years. That's so long. Then I'll kill you. How dare you? I'm your Mississippi. Ning Shu pointed at the corpse on the ground and said to Mei Wu, burn him and scatter his ashes. If he was burned to ashes, he wouldn't be afraid that the corpse would come back to life. Mei Wu didn't move. Ning Shu said, I'm your Mississippi. You have to listen to me. Act like how you did in the past, lest others see through you. Mei Wu picked up the corpse on the ground. Ning Shu reminded him again, cremate it. Do we really have to do this? Miss will be sad when she comes back, Mei Wu said hesitantly. Even if you're sad, there's nothing you can do about it. He's already dead. Cremate him and leave some ashes for your miss to remember, Ning Shu said without much care. By the way, peel off Qi Yi's skin while you're at it, Ning Shu instructed. Mei Wu asked, so, why did you kill the person my miss likes? You'll know in the future. Mei Wu carried the corpse away. Ning Shu went back to his room after many twists and turns. Then, he sat cross-legged on the stone bed and began to cultivate. Damn it, Mei Wu actually grabbed her neck. Next time, she would definitely grab Mei Wu's arm and throw him to the ground. Ning Shu formed a hand seal and set up a spirit-gathering array. Then, he began to cultivate. The Reiki in this world was quite abundant. Ning Shu cultivated for a while. After half a day, Ning Shu's dantian was filled with qi. He felt that his body was full of power. Ning Shu stopped and felt very hungry. He opened the door and saw Mei Wu holding a jar. He handed it to Ning Shu. This is Qi Yi's ashes. Ning Shu didn't want to take it at all. He said casually, find a place to bury it and dig it out when your miss comes back. Ning Shu summoned a maid and said, ask the kitchen to prepare some food for me. Ning Shu saw that Mei Wu was still holding the jar. He asked, what's wrong? Mei Wu said, you'd better put the jar in the room. Put the ashes in the room? Ning Shu refused in his heart. Find a place to bury it. Don't let others know. Maybe I'll dig it out and have a chat with him when I miss him. Mei Wu took out a bloody face. This is Qi Yi's face. Give it to Elder Shin. Ask him to keep it. I'll need it in the future, Ning Shu said to Mei Wu. Elder Shin was a poison doctor. He had a strange temperament and was very cruel. He liked to make medicine people. If someone in the sect made a serious mistake, he would directly send them to Elder Shin to be a medicine man. Sometimes, people from reputable and decent sects would come to provoke him. They would all be made into medicine men. Killing people was easy, but being a medicine man was very painful. You might die or live if you were forced to drink all kinds of strange medicine. But if you lived, you would start to test medicine day after day. Needless to say, it was very painful. Basically, no one was willing to go to Elder Shin's stone room. Miss, I'll bury the ashes under the peach tree and send the skin to Elder Shin, Mei Wu repeated. Ning Shu nodded. That's it. Go ahead. The maidservants served the dishes. Ning Shu was sitting on the stone bench in the pavilion and eating. An old man came over and scowled at Ning Shu. You killed Qi. This old man was emaciated and had no flesh on his face. He looked gloomy. The way he looked at Ning Shu was very dissatisfied and contained a faint murderous aura. This old man was Qi Yi's master. When Hong Ye's father sent Qi back, this old man saw that Qi had a good constitution and forcibly took him in as a disciple. His disciple was dead. If Ning Shu wasn't the daughter of the old sect master and the younger sister of the current sect master, he would have killed Ning Shu directly. Ning Shu put down his chopsticks. Uncle Old Ghost, Qi Yi was a spy planted in our sect by the righteous Tao. Killing him was for the sake of the entire sect. Old Ghost didn't listen to Ning Shu's explanation. It's not up to you to say whether Qi Yi was a spy or not. You don't have the right to kill Qi Yi. You're not putting me, Old Ghost, in your eyes. Ning Shu stood up, and the bell on his waist made a crisp sound. Uncle Old Ghost, I will naturally give you evidence whether Qi Yi was a spy or not. You have to come with me to see the sect master now. Even if you're the sect master's younger sister, you can't kill my disciple like this. Old Ghost reached out his hand to grab Ning Shu's collar. Ning Shu dodged Old Ghost's hand. Then I'll go with you to see elder brother. Ning Shu said. Hong Yi knows that Uncle Old Ghost has worked hard for the Saint Devil cult, but I'm doing this for Uncle Old Ghost. If Qi Yi was really exposed as a spy, it would inevitably affect Uncle Old Ghost's position in the Saint Devil cult. Old Ghost stared at Ning Shu. Little girl, you're playing tricks on me. Come with me to see the sect master. Ning Shu and Old Ghost arrived at the main hall. Yi Hua was eating. Yi Hua was wearing a black robe, which made him look oppressive and cold. When he saw Ning Shu and Old Ghost, he only glanced at them indifferently. Greetings to the sect master. Old Ghost and Ning Shu knelt on the ground. Yi Hua didn't even raise his head as he asked, What's the matter? Hong Yi killed it. Old Ghost said bluntly. Qi is considered an important member of the Saint Devil cult. Hong Yi killed him just like that. This is a bit unreasonable. Chapter 11:26. He knew that there would be a lot of trouble after killing Qi. After all, Qi had been in the Holy Devil cult for so many years. It would be hard to explain if he killed him. However, Ning Shu still chose to kill Qi Yi without hesitation. Protagonists had incomparably tenacious vitality. No one knew what would happen if they missed the opportunity. If they didn't kill Qi Yi at that time, Qi Yi would definitely escape. Once the tiger returned to the mountain, he would definitely lead a large number of righteous sects to encircle the Holy Devil cult. Brother, Ning Shu said. Yi Hua said indifferently, Call me sect master. Ning Shu was speechless. Sect master, that Qi is a spy. He even tricked me into finding the origin returning sacred art for him. Ning Shu said. Yi Hua raised his eyebrows and didn't say anything. What a joke. Qi was brought back by old sect master. How could he be a spy? Old Ghost said with a trembling face. His sunken eyes stared at Ning Shu. I can prove it. Brother. Sect master, give me a brush, ink, paper, and inkstone. Ning Shu said. Yi Hua waved her hand, and a maid came over to prepare everything. Ning Shu took the brush and wrote on the paper, "I got it. Now I'll find a chance to leave." Ning Shu's handwriting was very messy. After all, his handwriting was different from Qi Yi's. Ning Shu asked the maid to catch a pigeon. This pigeon was raised by Qi. Ning Shu put the slip of paper in a small bamboo tube and tied it to the pigeon's leg. Then he released the pigeon. The pigeon flapped its wings and flew away. After doing this, Ning Shu said to Yi Hua, "There should be a reply after a while." Yi Hua waved her hand and asked the maids to remove the dishes on the table. She looked at Ning Shu and said, "This noble one remembers that you used to admire Qi. How could you bear to kill him?" "Actually, you don't have to kill him. It's best to catch a big fish." Yi Hua said. Ning Shu, sigh, protagonists were creatures. If they weren't completely destroyed, they would always be the ones who went overboard. If you like, you can imprison Qi. Why did you kill him? Yi Hua stood up. The sleeves of his black robe were embroidered with golden embroidery of clouds. As he walked, they flickered with luster. Ning Shu didn't pay attention to Yi Hua's clothes. Instead, he heard Yi Hua mention imprisonment. His heart was filled with a string of curses. This imprisonment shouldn't be the kind of imprisonment she was thinking of. Don't forget, he was from a righteous sect that could be killed but not humiliated. In the future, he would be the leader of the martial arts world. If she imprisoned him, what would she do if he escaped? Killing him was the safest option. Moreover, the original owner's mission was to kill Qi Yi. What righteous path or evil path? The human heart is divided into righteous and evil. Some people use the righteous path's banner to kill people for the sake of the common people. The righteous faction would also do what the demonic faction would do, swindle and cheat. Wasn't Qi Yi doing the same to Hongye? How noble could he be? Don't you admire Qi Yi, that jade-faced young gentleman? Yi Hua approached Ning Shu and asked indifferently. Ning Shu curled his lips and said, "But he didn't like me. Sister killed him out of anger." Yi Hua was speechless. Yi Hua turned to Old Ghost and said, "I will give Elder Ghost an explanation for this matter. If Qi Yi is really a spy, Elder Ghost should find a new disciple." "Yes, Cult Master." Ning Shu left the main hall and headed towards Poison Dr. Elder Shin's courtyard. When he arrived at Elder Shin's residence, he could hear the wails and howls of ghosts and wolves from the outside. It was like a living hell. Moreover, the air was mixed with the smell of various herbs. Ning Shu stood outside the door. He put his hand to his mouth and shouted towards the room, "Elder Shin, tell me where there is no poison. I want to come in." There were poisons everywhere around Elder Shin. Moreover, there were different kinds of poisons. Although Ning Shu also knew how to poison, he didn't want to be poisoned. Elder Shin was a madman in research. He created all kinds of strange poisons that made people wish they were dead. Even Ning Shu had to admit defeat. Elder Shin devoted his entire life to making poisons. "There are poisons everywhere. Come in, I will give you the antidote." Elder Shin's voice came from the room. His voice was very hoarse. When there was no medicine man, Elder Shin used himself to test the poison. His throat was poisoned. Ning Shu, she clearly knew that the surroundings were poisoned, but she still walked over. This feeling was indescribable. Ning Shu covered his mouth and nose as he entered the courtyard. There were several medicine men tied to wooden planks. Some of them had green skin and all of their hair had fallen out. Some of them had festering skin. They wanted to die but couldn't. This was simply torture. In the entire Holy Devil cult, Elder Shin was the most abnormal. There were basically no outsiders who came to this courtyard. Elder Shin messed around with these things every day. Ning Shu stretched out his hand, "Give me the antidote." "There is no poison. I lied to you," Elder Shin said hoarsely. His voice was so hoarse that it sounded like sandpaper scraping on the ground. It made people who heard it feel uncomfortable. Ning Shu checked his own pulse. There were indeed no signs of poisoning. However, Ning Shu still didn't believe Elder Shin. The researchers were not in their right minds. Especially a fanatical person like Elder Shin. He didn't know if it was because he ate too much poison that destroyed his body's mechanism. He was clearly not 40 years old, but his hair was snow white. Moreover, it was almost all gone. His sparse hair was tied into a bun on his head. He couldn't figure out why this guy was so fanatical. Elder Shin ignored Ningxu. He was holding a bowl of black and thick liquid and was pouring it into the medicine man's mouth. The medicine man looked like he had nothing left to live for. Tears flowed out of his blind eyes. Elder Shin chuckled. Ningxu asked, "Didn't Mei Wu send over a piece of skin?" Elder Shin, "How did you deal with it? Can you use this skin to disguise yourself?" Elder Shin gave Ningxu a box. Ningxu glanced at Elder Shin and opened the box. He saw a piece of skin inside. This skin had the texture of skin and even eyelashes. The skin floated in the medicine. Ningxu carefully twisted out the skin. It was a thin layer. It was really as thin as a cicada's wing. "Elder Shin, can I use this skin to disguise myself?" Ningxu asked Elder Shin. "However, this isn't your skin after all. You have to wear it for a period of time to let the skin breathe. Moreover, this skin has to be soaked in the medicine. Otherwise, it will rot," Elder Shin said. "Then I'll try." Ningxu put the skin on his face. However, no matter how hard he tried, Ningxu couldn't remove it. Only after a long time did the skin adhere to his face. Ningxu took out a small bronze mirror and looked at it. After all, it was human skin. It wasn't easy to see through the flaws. The ancient technology wasn't bad either. Ningxu looked at Qi Yi's face in the mirror. He didn't ask for a lot of resemblance. After all, Qi Yi came to the Holy Devil cult when he was 11 or 12 years old. Now that he had grown up, it was normal for his appearance to change a little. Ningxu touched his throat. There was no Adam's apple. There were also breasts. The kind of treatment that no one could see when you stuck out your big breasts was the female leads treatment. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.